Okay, copy link. So it has to be image
Mars, you're
equals.
hearable now. We're all hearable now. My apologies.
This whole time?
No, something was amiss. Mars, It was not something I could have predicted. My computer decided to do a fuck itself and just unclick all the preferences and make it so that nothing was coming through the proper channels. There's nothing I could have done.
Quite unfortunate.
Yes, my apologies. Thank you, Pastry Puff.
Okay.
I fixed it. It was me, Dichotomy.
Try this.
It was me.
Post.
Okay, lovely. I'm trying
Nope, healing hands is still not working.
I have tea full of gloop.
I don't know what to do.
I can check one more thing. Maybe the file I uploaded is different than the other ones for some reason.
Maybe.
We're trying, guys. So Mars writes fan fiction, and I draw cool covers of said fan fiction.
Yes.
And I want her
And I'm
to...
trying to make sure the world can see her beautiful art.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's fighting me.
Okay. Can I see the specs of this, please?
Oy vey.
I want the info. Info. Stop, Dropbox. Please let me do things. File info.
It will never let you do things. This is the way of the world.
The file info, it's that size by that size.
Well, I'll make my rounds. Hello, Dichotomy. Hello, Pastry Puff. And wow, that's it? Okay.
Yeah, that's it for now. Nope, they're
Yes,
the same
Pastry
thing,
Puff,
so I don't
the
know.
Buddy Daddy vibes are immaculate.
So good.
They're so, so good. I love the first
it's
episode.
so
I
good.
love Miri and
MP, hello.
Kazuki. Yes, Kazuki Papa. Can't forget him.
Yes.
He's so great.
Kazuki, my boy.
MP, hello. Where were you hiding? Did
I don't
miss
know.
you?
Apparently.
I'm so sorry. My
Mars
brain
not
is
paying
in
attention.
1,000 different places today. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't look like my file is weird. I'll give you one more
That's very bizarre.
check. Can you copy and paste me the link that you have for one of the ones that works?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Just to
So,
see.
this... Oh, fucking hell. Come on!
Good, I shan't worry then, MP.
Okay, so this is the link for... The link? The link! For Ample Kiss. Oh, and it actually shows up when I post that
It
link in
should.
Discord. But it's also got the image screen equals alt. Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know
gonna
what I'm
see-
doing wrong.
I'm gonna see, maybe this is it. One. Does that come
Okay.
up? Take that and try that in the thing.
Now, I'm just copying the link in the browser, right?
Yeah, and then you are replacing it in where that text works, but you have to have the whole thing in there.
But I keep image screen equals.
Yeah, and then the
Okay.
quote, and then the link, and then the quote, and then space alt equals quote, and then you write healing hands cover art quote. You know, like everything. You're just making that link this new link.
Okay.
Try that. Because now I'm trying to see if maybe that one's different, possibly.
Okay, so I'm gonna try...
No.
Oh crap, what'd I do? No, 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 this is not what I wanted. Shit!
Mars,
Not what
are
I
you
wanted.
doing?
Cancel. I almost replaced the wrong thing. What am I doing?
Very interesting. I don't know. Dr. Kazuki.
Okay, Ample Kiss is still left untouched.
Yeah,
Ample-
literally. It's so good. I love Kazuki though.
Kazuki is great.
The whole thing
He's
is
got
great.
so much going on as a character. Even Ray has so much hidden backstory
It's so
in
good.
his as well. Okay, interesting. So Ori, when I copy paste this one and send it back to you, it doesn't pull up the cover like it did with Ample Kiss.
Yeah.
So something's...
Does
Is it because
this work?
Alt equals Ample Kiss, or Alt equals Healing Hands cover didn't show up? Is that
No,
why?
try that link instead.
Okay.
because it comes up now. No worries, Mason. Honestly, we're struggling a little bit with a side thing.
We're futzing around tonight.
I made cool art for Mars's fix, and the site is saying, no, you can't show the one. Just the one, for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I have to ask, does Disastrous Cafe have the same problem?
No! I can see that one fine. It's just healing hands.
That's so weird.
I know.
Why? Okay, I'm doing it in Discord. No, see? It's... Oh, nope. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
Let's try it.
I'm gonna check.
I'm gonna... Hold on, I haven't posted it yet.
I thought you did. I thought that's what you
Pull
said.
your
Good.
horses!
Sorry. Oh, tell her happy birthday, Mason.
The beautiful cover.
Older
Nope,
sister? Younger sister?
It's still not showing up. Also, I put it in the wrong value. Crap.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's just not showing.
I don't even see the broken image like it was before.
Hang on, hey. Give me a second. Sorry, I'm dying.
Yeah, why are you dying?
I was eating some almonds because I wanted to be healthy.
Oh no.
They're very dry.
Ooh. Let's just
Yeah,
drink
no,
almond milk
it's
instead.
It's just giving me broken image.
Okay, hold on. I have one more thing for you to try.
One more trick up our sleeves.
And then we're gonna leave it, and I'm gonna do art.
And happy birthday to your sister, Mason.
Guys, sometimes it's like I had not wanted to like draw or sketch for like a while, like other things. I was just being like boring and stuff. And then I was like, okay, I gotta do something for the Ko-fi. I have nothing left for the Ko-fi. Ooh, younger. Very nice, Mason. Tell her happy 12th birthday. Copy image link.
Young un indeed.
Okay, try...
Hashtag?
No. If you right-click the image in Discord...
Okay.
And then you click copy message... I'm sorry, that's not what it is.
Copy image.
Copy image link. Copy link. So open it so it's big, but not open in browser. And then just click copy link. And use that link instead.
Oh, okay. Let's give that a try.
And then we'll
Okay.
see.
Friggin' healing hands. Edit once more.
What was I gonna say? Oh,
now I
had
have to leave image screen, right? Image screen equals and then link.
Yeah. All of that stuff is and then make sure you have the little quotes. Equals quote.
Okay.
Link quote space slash caret. Greater than.
Okay. So the quotes are here. Everything's good. No space between the equal sign and the quote. Maybe that was the issue?
I don't know.
I can't imagine why, but things be finicky. Post. Hot damn, we got it!
Woo!
We're in business, baby!
We're in business, baby. Guys, if you like
Hi!
Trigun or
Fucking hell, man!
don't have a cow, man. Alright, if you like Trigun or Mob Psycho, well, so this one's Trigun, this is a Vashwood fic, but look at this lovely color for that we made work.
It's so beautiful and honestly captures the vibe I was picturing when writing this.
We also
it is
have
absolutely perfect.
this one.
Mwah. Thank you, Ori.
An Ample Kiss, another one. Lots of Vashwood fics. Honestly, Mars has written...
Guys, can you tell I like Vashwood a
Yeah.
lot?
Now, I will say, Mars does have one
Can you tell
Trigun
they're my
fic
boys?
that I didn't do a cover for. But just the
It's
one.
not my proudest one. It was kind of an experimental one.
It
but
was
I
also
still
like a prompt, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a prompt
It
thing?
was. It was for Vashwood Week, and literally the only one I did for Vashwood
And
Week.
this is the
Everything else was
newest
just,
one I
these are
did.
my own vibes.
Which I'm very happy with. This one was really fun.
Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. The milkshake and the jelly coffee.
Sometimes
Coffee
it
jelly,
is.
Mayo tomato.
Ooh, Pastry Puff asks, out of all the fanfics you've written so far, Mars, what is your favorite?
Ooh, my favorite one I've written.
So yeah, go check them out.
I am torn because I really love Lost Geraniums.
Yeah, that was gonna be mine.
Definitely a really good exercise. I felt that I did a really decent word length for that. Like, I hadn't really written that much for previous fanfics, so being able to
that one has a while.
Decent word length with that one, I was like, ooh, go me. But I also just really like the premise of it. It's just like, it's a goofy time, but also, how about some character development? How about some angst as well? But it all culminates in fluff, which is the best. But I also really like one fic I wrote. It's for anyone who's watched the movie The Sword of the Stranger. Very, very good movie. Honestly, underrated ? I feel like more people are starting to watch it, but it's really good. Check it out. There's a scene toward the end that, got me thinking. And I wrote a little character piece for that. I honestly really like the voice I took on in that. It's kind of like, I'd call it third-person dream-esque. Because in that scene, not really spoilers, but basically the main character is left in a position where, they're not at their strongest currently, and, I'm taking that to its logical conclusion. He ain't doing very well, so... Okay. He's thinking about things.
This is a totally
I like
separate
the voice
thing.
I took on in that.
This is a totally separate thing, but you made me think of it. I should make a toggle that can go on my Stream Deck that just says spoilers, and so I can toggle it on and off.
That would be brilliant. We would use that so much.
We would use that so much. I barely use any of the buttons on here. There's 3 buttons that I don't use out of 6. So honestly, that would help.
Then, look, now you'll have 2 buttons that you don't use.
Yeah. Slowly making it work.
Woohoo!
Slowly making it work. All right, that'll be the next thing.
I'd say those 2 are my favorite pastry puff.
It would be really cool to do. I think that we need that.
It's hard to pick between those 2.
I'm always like, in my heart, I'm a little sad that I can't do art for every single one of Mars's fics, but the ones that I haven't done, almost all of them are from fandoms that I'm not a part of, so I really don't know how to go. And then I just remember I remember reading the one Vash one that I didn't do, but I don't, if I'm being honest, I don't remember it nearly as well as I remembered the Disastrous Cafe trip. So even though that one was older,
Disastrous Cafe trip was specifically intended to be a birthday present to you.
It was a birthday present for me.
I hope you'd read it.
No, I've read all of the ones I'm a fan, I'm in the fandom of, and I did read the one you made for Pastry Puff, because you had asked me to, even though I didn't really know any of the things.
I needed a beta without being a beta.
Exactly. But it was just the first one I made a cover of was Lost Geraniums, because in my brain I was just like, oh, this is great. This is that's such an idea. I'm gonna do it. And then
I didn't even have to prompt Ori for that one. I just said, hey Ori, here's this idea and here's what I have so far. And she was like, say less.
Yeah,
I have less, something.
Literally. And I did it. Ooh, I'll answer that in a second, Mason. I was thinking that, Enthuse. I was very much thinking that. I was also thinking something of like a table card though, since we're kind of sitting at a table.
Aw, thank
some
you,
sort of table card. Oh, welcome back, Dark Reindeer.
Hi, Dark Reindeer.
And so, all of those I had an idea for after reading them. And so, even though I had read A Disastrous Cafe Trip a while ago, 2 years now, it's been a while, I still remembered it, where it was I have this really good idea for a cover now that I'm doing covers. So I had wanted to do it, and I finally did it. But yeah, maybe I'll get around to reading that last Bash one, but we'll see. Yeah, I know, right? So close. But it was worth it. I have 4 out of, how many do you have? 7? 7 fics?
I got a decent amount of fics.
I think you have 7 fics. Because you have the Pastry Puff one, the extra Vash one, and then the Oh, 8 fixed, because you have an Al Noah 0, don't you? And then the Sword and the
Yeah.
Stranger one. So 8 fixed. So I've done half. And if Mars does this next one, I'm very excited to get to do a cover for it.
Oh yes, Futo PI Brainwash has just begun.
I need it. I need it real bad. And you have to watch Sarumenko before
Sarumenko?
they call
Is that
him
what we're calling it
Samu.
now?
They call him Samumenko in the show.
I
lot.
haven't gotten to that part yet.
I know.
Okay,
So you have to
soon.
catch up. It's pretty
I will.
early that they do that. It's like the public starts calling him that because they don't want to say Samurai Flamenco. They just like Samumenko. And he's like, no.
Flamenco.
But
No, I'm
Amazing.
Samurai Flamenco, guys. How dare you?
what do you do when you lose
Ooh.
the motivation to work on Outcast?
How to get motivation back.
I will say there's I'm trying to remember the longest break that I had. Because I
The
remember
longest break was definitely when we first started out.
yeah, but there was another
There
break
was a
in
very long break in
between.
between.
But then there was another break later on that I remember specifically being like I wasn't doing it, and then I was like, oh my god, I miss drawing the boys, right? Like I missed
Yeah.
it. And that's what I'm trying to think of. So like Mason, I would definitely say like if it's really, especially because you're not like on a schedule, right? If it's really, really not a good, like having a good time, I wouldn't force it because the worst thing that you want is to start hating doing it at all. And to a certain extent, there's like a level, right? There's like sometimes where it's like, okay, I need to get this done and I want to get it done, but it sucks, right? And so I'm gonna push through.
I feel that very often with Aster's Feathers and Sinnet Strikes.
Yeah, but it's not
But
like,
it's like
everything
a
is
necessary evil.
terrible.
Because it's not terrible. It's just this one part where I'm like, oh,
And
I
then-
don't want to do it, but I know it has to get done.
When you get into the rhythm of it, sometimes you lose yourself in it. But then there's a difference between like, man, this is like completely unenjoyable for me, and me sitting here forcing myself to do this is actively making my mindset and my day worse. I would say if you're at that level, take a break, right? Like
Yeah.
no shame, take a break. And something that one of the comic artists that I look up to, the Starfish Face, who writes and illustrates Cast Off, which is really good, and you should read it. She said something along the lines of, it was like, if you don't miss doing it right after that break, then it's not something that you should be pushing yourself to do, right? And so she talks about how like she had like a comic before Cast Off that was like she just kind of took a break and just never got back to it. And there's no shame if that happens, but if it
not
is,
at all.
but like a comic is a very long endeavor, no matter what. And so, and Mason, that's completely fine going into an indefinite hiatus. And possibly, you know, if it comes to that, never coming back, or having a rework at some point because you
Well,
liked
that's what
the
can
idea
eventually happen.
or all those sort
From
of
those
things.
breaks, it gives you some time to really think about it.
Exactly.
Maybe you return to those characters, and then you see, oh, here's a new direction the story could go. Something I see a lot when people switch from like you got the canvas and then you got the originals. What I see happen a lot is people take a little break in between that, but they take the time to like figure out, okay, this character was really good, but
That
I
can be
actually
helpful,
didn't
Mason.
like writing for this character too much, so I'm actually gonna take them out
Yep,
of the updated version.
that's a big
Um,
thing.
There was an artist that I follow. They write Not So Silent, which is amazing. It's great. It's
Oh, I follow them
Go
too
read
now.
it.
I love
It's
everything.
wonderful.
It's so good.
But in one of their Q&As, one of the people who followed since the Canvas days asked, hey, where are the twins? Like, I miss them. Where'd they go? And the author said, well, I wasn't quite sure how to write them in the original. They felt a little bit like they were just there for the sake of being there. And I want to give more time to the other characters. So that break in between allowed them to figure that out.
Yeah. And
So breaks aren't always evil. They're
I would say
nothing to
breaks
fear.
are mostly not evil, and if they and I think you should never be afraid of learning that you really didn't like what you were doing. I guess is the example. I as a person am a very the first time is the one I like kind of person. That's just the kind of person I've always been. My favorite color has been pink since literally I could have a favorite color. Like this is not a joke. I've been very set in knowing what I want and what I like to do. So I personally didn't have a fear that when we made something with Outcast that it was like, this is what I like and these are the designs, that I was going to be able to be like, no, I love these boys and I love doing this.
Go forward in the story if she didn't like the direction it was heading.
Yeah, exactly. And
it would come to a grinding halt until she was satisfied.
And so there was a point where it was like I just didn't have the time to like grind and really push through some of the more tedious parts. But I went like, wow, I really miss drawing them. Like I'm sad that I don't get to draw them, right? And of course, a lot of my outside drawing the specific comic art is still drawing the boys, just somehow different because I'm obsessed. But
say, hurry, whoo, those dragons, whoo!
Oh, yeah, I know, right? But Smogus,
to quote
guys...
the girl in our Spanish class, calor, calor!
Guapo, but yeah.
I know, but that's not what she said.
No, I know. But Mason, as well, planning and having a place to go, I think is also very helpful in driving, right? Mars and I always had sort of like from the beginning, we planned out the major story beats, the major sort of driving points that we want to hit. And then of course, as it's evolved, it's being like, ooh, let's work this scene in here and this scene in here. So it is
This would be
helpful.
a good place to introduce this development or introduce this plot line, this conflict.
So in a way,
there's always a roadmap for where we're going with the story.
And it means that it's, one, you can't get lost, right? Like, you can't get lost in the sauce, which is helpful in general.
It can be very easy to go into tangents sometimes.
Which is very helpful in general.
It can be so easy to lose track of everything. Like, guys, there's a reason studios in Hollywood have teams specifically focused on continuity.
And it still gets screwed up sometimes.
All they're focused on. And even then, exactly.
On top of that, it is helpful to, you know, Mars has talked about this before, but sometimes there are points where it might drag for you because, oh, well, I understand that, you know, you need to have this scene, but it's not my favorite scene, but I know that overall it needs to happen, right? I'm trying to think of a scene I really dreaded, like, trying to draw. Definitely the end of entry 5 was like, this is a lot, right? It has all the characters at once, basically every character in the majority of the panels all at once. It was a lot of work. There's definitely some sort of, like, apprehension about wanting to do it.
I gotta say, I loved writing that one because there were so many personalities just bouncing off each other in that moment. And that was something that hadn't really been in the comics since, what was it, entry 3?
The
4?
end of entry 2. Entry 2 is a really long one.
The end of entry 2!
Yes,
Jesus!
but entry 2 is very long and entry 3 is very short. You know, so it does like balance out. It's not as far back as you think it is.
But it feels so long.
It feels that way. But and just sometimes, you know, if you really like the characters, but you're just not feeling doing the story or anything, Starfish Face specifically had said that it was like, you know, trying out a shorter comic that you can complete first before taking on sort of a bigger endeavor. And oh, you want it to have to be these characters that you like? Well, write a side story with them. Right,
that's
like
what
a little
was
thing.
Originally going to be, and then Orion, I just said screw it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm see, one trick pony is not the word, but that's what my brain goes. I'm a one choice pony.
It's
the first answer is the best.
Like, go big or go home. If I'm not
go
going
big or go home,
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. It would be one thing if it was a story that I was, you know, that we were really into that was short, right? But it was like, no, we love these boys. We don't want to see them gone so fast.
No, we could tell a story here.
Yeah. again, it sort of just snowballed, and we were like, yes. And there was a moment,
Yeah.
I love to say this because Mars will tell it, it was like, oh wait, we're actually seriously doing this. At first it was like, maybe this is a group project thing, and it kind of falls off, and then there was like, oh no, shit, no, it's happening.
Well, okay, guys, let me tell you. I have been a part of like these little homemade projects where we started off very not me and Ori specifically. This,
No,
with
this
me,
is our first endeavor together, and honestly,
Yes.
going fucking great, man.
I
We
mean,
fucking,
we're going pretty
it's great.
smoothly.
it's good shit.
But I've been a part of projects and team ups where it's like, okay, this is a little passion project, and sooner or later, like, we're gonna lose interest in it because something else is gonna come along, or we get bored, we get lazy, and like, that is how it always went in the past. So when this came along, I was just like, okay, we'll see where it goes. Maybe it's more of the same. And then, like, when we started actually making entries, I was like, oh, this is happening. Okay, this is real. This is a thing we're actually doing. Okay. I'm here for it.
So,
I'm not complaining at all. Not in the slightest.
but I will say that's definitely not a for everyone sort of thing, right? Definitely the advice is, you know, start small and see
like,
that
no,
and
please
everything
don't feel
like
like
that.
you have to go big or go home. That
But
is
I
not
will-
the rule.
I will definitely
That is
say,
an exception.
yeah, pastry puff. Good.
Nice,
when
pastry
is
puff.
it? When's the day? When's the day? How long do you have left?
Do tell.
What's your deadline? But yeah, it was just because I've had other ideas like fall through personally in the past, you know, like doing comic stuff on my own. I will say Mars and I
was
complement
originally
each
gonna
other
do a
very well.
spin-off anime series. In high school, I had a whole like cast of characters I was gonna do. They were ethereal mages. They had powers of the different elements of Earth, basically a Avatar, but with magical girls. Essentially.
Ah,
And then that project died.
I don't know. I don't know what necessarily stuck with
28th.
Outcast.
Okay, I'll have to mark our calendars.
Ooh, okay, you got a lot of time then. You're coming in good. You got 8 more days.
Got
a week.
little over the week.
A little over a week. That's pretty good. That's pretty good time management
That's not
there.
terrible. That's
And
pretty
you're
good.
basically done. Just effects. Yeah, you got this in the bag. Oh, that reminds me. That's something I really want to do.
In like
There are
when?
3 comic artists. Technically 4. The 4th is like a maybe I will, maybe I won't. But definitely 3 where I'm just like, yes, you are big inspiration for doing this here and now. And I also really vibe with like your like what's the word? Like message, I guess.
Aesthetic?
No. In like a
Oh,
you know when like a
ideal?
company has like a message, right? What's that called?
Ideals.
That's no, it's not
Ideals.
called. It's called something else. It's called like a mission statement. That's what I'm thinking of. So it's like having that vibe, or I'm just like
Okay,
vibe
I think I
really
see what you're
hard
talking about.
with like
Mission statement or goal.
yeah, like how they go about doing the comic and like their like and how it feels for them sort of thing. I don't know. Just when you
Okay.
vibe with someone as like a person and like what they've at least, you know, put out about their process and these sort of things. And it's just like,
Valid.
I want to make fan art of your comic for your anniversaries, and Reed's is in December, and I'm totally doing it. I need to. Reed's is the 8th of December.
Please.
And I need to because I love one ZZ Sleeps is like spirit person. I'm like, oh my god, I read their like Q&A or something in the about like how they go about the comic and how it feels, and I'm just like, oh yeah. So okay, I'm gonna give an example. So this
I think you gotta.
so this is a webtoon I found this year, very recently. It is called Reeds, Reeds, and it is BL, but there's a lot of plot. It's very queer. It's really fun. It's good. It's moving. It's like, there's a lot of good lines. There's a lot of good vibes. Highly recommend it. It's been going on for a bit now.
If anyone saw my story last night, you will know what we're talking about.
But it's really good. And I was like reading it, and I came across the artist did like You know, I can't remember if it was just a hiatus and they had a Q&A, or they just decided to have a Q&A. I don't remember, but I was like reading it and I was like, wow, I really like vibe really hard. And I'm just trying to find, that's question and answers 2. Is it question and answers 1 or 2? God,
I'm trying to remember because I read those just last night.
I know, you read them
I
rather
think you're looking
recently.
for 2.
I am looking for question and answers 2.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
I just lost it. Okay, this is question and answers 2. God, their art is so pretty. Okay. End me. No. That's fine. No. I think it's 1, actually. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I feel like it's Q&A 1.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, you're right, it's not.
Ha!
Okay, so the question was, what drives you to keep on making this webtoon? There must have been ups and downs in the whole process where you might have wanted to throw everything away and start anew, or in the worst case scenario, give up on drawing and making webtoons as a whole. How do you overcome this and still present us readers with fulfilling story in every upload? The answer is, I've actually never thought about giving up. I love reads the way a parent unconditionally loves their child. This comic has become so embedded in my life that I cannot stop thinking about it. I can't sleep. I miss the boys too much. There's a little like drawing.
That's
and all this sort of stuff. And then it's important to have balance, you know, with the comic. Blah, blah, blah. I have boundaries with my comic for health's sakes, but I love it very much. Even if no one was reading it, I would still keep making it. I don't look back nor feel the need to redo anything. Those were all part of my growing process. I've accomplished a lot, so every new achievement from this point on is a bonus. I feel successful that my comic exists at all. And I'm getting choked up because I fucking feel this really hard. And I read this, I'm like at work in the car, and I'm just like, wow. I've never felt so seen as it is, because I will say, on the internet you do hear a lot of like artist negatives, right? And writer negatives, just creative negatives, right? Of hitting that burnout and like working yourself to death, and you know, and like all the big negatives, because that's what media does, and that's what, you know, or people having imposter syndrome or never liking the work that they do and all this sort of stuff. And that's a valid thing that happens to a lot of people, obviously. That's why we're talking about it. I don't want to downplay that, but definitely as a artist, I never really felt that way. And so in a weird way, and I'm really not trying to like brag or anything, but in a weird way, it's like, am I allowed to feel this way? Am I allowed to be like, oh, like I like things? And so to see this pretty successful person who has been doing this comic, and was like, they got like voice actors, they're doing voice acting stuff, and I'm very excited they're gonna like animate. I'm like very, very excited. But to see them
counting down the days,
feel so strongly in the way that I feel about doing the comic and everything is very just like, I really relate. And so that's what I mean by like mission statement, right? That's what I mean by like,
still call that ideals.
Okay, ideals.
It still sounds like ideals.
Whatever. But like that sort of thing. And the 3 people is this artist, ZZ Sleeps, and then also, of course, the Starfish face of Castoff, and Red from OSP, who does Comic Aurora. All have had like very, I really feel when they, at least
very
when they
relatable.
talk about doing their comic or their like work schedule or all those sort of things, I feel very strongly with them. So I feel like as a whole, while I like a lot of comics and I like a lot of like art styles with the comics and everything, them have been like, as people, I also like vibe with as like a celebrity, what's the word? Role model kind of way, I guess. And so it's just like, which is really weird to say because I'm really their age, which is very odd. Because when you're a kid, you're like, everybody who's a role model is older than me. And it's like, no, all the people I look up to are literally my age. And it's just like, wild. I guess enthuse. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But so we'll say values and ideals from Mars there.
I think that's a little more accurate, but I totally get what you're saying.
Motive, I guess. Motive, maybe. You know, like motivation, whatever it is. But that sort of thing.
Ideals, values.
Of just being like, I really relate hard, and so I really like. I've wanted to do a lot of I've wanted to do a lot of fan art for comics, and I like a lot of comics that I would highly recommend, and I definitely keep reading and wait to come out with more. And I definitely have one or two artists that I've like. There's one comic artist that I've read, like, they have, like, 4 comics or something, and I'm like, yep, reading all those, because I really like how they write and how they, you know, draw, whatever. But I've never felt so, like, I relate with how you feel about your comic so hard as
I feel
the artist
seen.
reads. And so reading that, I was very much just like you heard, I was just like, oh my god. Oh, so good. So... And same with, like, the starfish face being, like, you want to, like, miss it. You know, if you don't miss it, it's not for you. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, man, do I fucking miss it? Do I fucking miss it? So, that's the sort of fan art I want to make.
I'm writing for these characters. I'm thinking about these characters. They're invading my dreams.
I think about them all the time.
I'm thinking about little stories for them. I'm mouthing dialogue, they might say. Like, I'm in deep.
You sometimes don't realize that someone is your peer role model until they leave. You should graduate. Definitely had some role models. Yeah, no, there's a lot of role models in your life that are sometimes like, they're just my friends, but like, they're cool. It's definitely a different vibe. It makes it interesting because Mars and I have been reading a lot of BL, and a lot of BL takes place in Japanese high school, and Japanese high school has the concept of kohais and senpais, and that concept is very much basically being like, we're supposed to be role models to the lower classmen, and we have to be good role models to the lower classmen, and us lower classmen look up to the upperclassmen, and all this stuff. And while that's not like an explicit thing in like American, you know, Western high schools, it is definitely still like there.
I feel like it's kind of implied.
It's definitely because okay.
Although sometimes I feel like it takes on a little bit of a cynical role too, because like you remember when we first went to high school, the seniors were like, oh, the little baby freshman, and
there's
then we became seniors, and it's like, oh wow. I think our freshmen, when we became seniors, were like way taller than what we were.
A fair amount of them were,
we can't make fun of them. This isn't fair.
There's like, here's appalled that someone might look up to me. No, it's interesting because I think in like at least in American high school culture, there's definitely a level of like, us seniors have power and you should like,
oh, big time,
like, you should respect us and we're cooler than you. And then of course if you're nice, like you're just friends and then you're nice. Versus in like Japanese high school, it's definitely more of like a no, there's like a mutual respect and like expectation of teaching the ropes like for everybody. Versus in like American high school, there's definitely like a, oh no, not the seniors, you know, they rule the school, you know, sort of shit. Right. And so it's definitely like an interesting thing. It's the seniority complex. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, pastry puff. See, that's when you know that you're vibing, right? That's when you know that you're vibing, when you can only think about it. When 90% of Ori's music taste is literally just, this is somehow an Outcast animatic. Ooh. I love it. When you watch a new show and you go, ooh.
That's how you know.
Who would be who?
No, when you watch a new show and you're literally like, okay, how do our characters slot
Literally. Or, okay, I want to draw fan art, but ooh, do I draw just the characters or do I draw our characters in the outfits? Yeah.
Because that's technically fan art while also being promotion.
Or, all right, Smaugust, I could draw dragons. I could make new Dragon OCs, but fuck no. We got Milano, man. Why would I make a new one?
And he's already a Cayman. Bada bing, bada boom.
Even though I will say, I made an attempt at making Milano like a Cayman dragon, and I gotta tell you, it was not happening. So he's got an Eastern dragon vibe right now. And honestly, every Outcast character that would be... The only other one I could see being a really good dragon would be Sinnet, and he would also have to be a Western dragon, because he's specifically Longtail Boy, and so...
It's very hard to beat Sonochi no Sadame,
It just
so.
works. It just works, okay? See, Axis could probably be a Western dragon.
Ooh. He could. He really
But
could.
yeah. 80% of music taste is derived from JoJo. You know,
I don't see
Such is
anything wrong
life.
with that.
a lot of JoJo music is good. That's why all the stands are
I still
named
have
after
Noble
bands
Hope
and
the
shit.
Stardust Crusaders theme on my phone.
Dylan references
slaps.
this. It's the Stardust Crusaders theme is the one that's literally called like Stardust Crusaders, right? Or
Yes.
yeah.
And
Dylan
it's got
sings
like
that.
3 different versions of it.
Yeah,
And they
Dylan sings
play
that
the-
one
the
in
different
Ace
riffs
Attorney
depending on who's fighting.
all
I
the
love it.
time. He references that all the time. We also reference Phantom Blood's opening. Shinjin.
Oh, that gets
Shinjin.
referenced a
Jin
lot.
jin.
Choo-choo.
I literally was editing
They
and
know
you were
how to
like,
make songs.
you said something, and then Dylan went, Mars, that was more Shinjins than a JoJo opening. So yeah.
I wish
But
I
no,
could remember what I said.
it's in one of the ones coming out soon. If it hasn't already come out.
Well, today's one that just came out was me scaring Dylan with polyps and nodules.
Ah, yeah. It's probably the next one then.
I look forward to it. Friday.
Okay, I thought I did an oopsie, but I didn't.
Yeah. Looking good.
I thought it was on the same layer. That was my concern.
He looks very shy and very concerned. 10 out of 10.
Oh, very demure. I don't have
Very
a problem.
modest, very demure.
I don't have a problem with the word demure. But I hate that, like, I scroll my feed for 2 seconds, and what sucks is, like, these are people that I specifically follow, that YouTube is giving me shorts of, right? These are people that I, like, specifically, like, I like your content, I'm following your content, and then suddenly it's like, oh, look at me performing surgery, how I hold the scalpel, very demure, very, I was just like,
God.
I wanna fucking die, I want to die, and it's like, I want to support your content, but I hate this so much. I'm so done.
Oh, it already came out.
Oh, it did already come out?
My memory is gone. I'm sorry.
Mars can't remember anything. Just
Memory
just
is not
Outcast
a
Boys
thing
and
anymore.
breathing.
It's Outcast Boys, breathing, anime, music, and random bits of trivia here and there. And speech. Lots of speech.
Lots of speech indeed.
That's a lot of speech.
I had a harrowing experience with the lanternflies today. They
Oh,
know that I've been killing them. Oh my god.
Did it launch at you?
No, actually, thankfully. I'll tell you what happened. So what happened was that for my job today, I had to check in at a place that is not the place where the work is being done. And the door, like, was locked when I first got there. But I got there pretty early. And so, like, all right, I'll wait. It was, like, 6:45, and it's like, okay, I'll wait till 7. I would wait. So I had gotten out of the car, checked, it was locked. That was 6:45. Get out of the car, check, it's still locked at 7. It's like, okay, I'll wait till 7:15, but then I'm just gonna call it here. It's like I needed to be there at 7, you know, but I'll be a little late, whatever. And it was a psyche lock, yeah. I knew
okay.
that, Enthuse. I could have said.
I mean, that makes sense.
But I come back, so then I go check at 7:15. I come back to the car to go and do it, and there's a fucking spotted lanternfly right on my windshield. I'm like, oh.
No!
God, why? And then I'm going and I'm like looking around, like trying to figure out what I'm gonna do because I can't stomp it there and I don't want to smush it into my windshield, you know, and I want to kill it, so I don't want to just like turn on the wipers and have it fly away. Like, they need to die. And I'm just like, okay. And then there's another one. I watch another one fly down and land on my fucking windshield. I'm like, okay, now there's two. I'm like, okay, great. So now I'm looking for shit to try and pick up to get them. And they're just all around the ground. So I'm like stomping. Again, it's 7:15 in the morning. I'm stomping around.
Where are you?
I'm in a parking lot. I'm stomping around. I pick up a little stick. The two on my windshield are fucking unbothered. They gave no shits. You can tell these things have no fucking predators because, oh my god, I'm poking them with the stick and they're just like moving. They're not moving. They're like being slightly pushed, but their legs aren't moving. I'm like, oh
They're
my
just like,
fucking
huh,
god,
that's
what the hell?
mildly
And I
annoying.
don't want them to jump at me, right? So I need them to jump away from me. So I managed to get one and I like roll a stick onto the windshield and it jumps away and I get it. And this other one just would not fucking go. It just would not do it. It wanted to stay on my windshield till the end of fucking time. I'm like, no, bitch, I'm gonna get you. You're gonna die. Finally, after like walking back and forth of my car, like throwing this twig and missing it and throwing the twig and missing it and not throwing it hard enough and all this sort of stuff, I finally manage it. I finally smush it. I walk around. I'm on the passenger side of my car. I walk around behind my car. Yeah, I walk around behind my car to get to the driver's side, and on my back windshield, there's another fucking one, and I watch it slide down into my windshield wiper. So I pick up the windshield wiper and slam it down, and it comes out, and I smush it. And I'm like, I need to leave before they come back. There's too many. But I must have killed
really
like
launched
15.
an all-out attack on you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
God.
It's terrible. The amount of corpses at my parents' house are like numerous.
I've seen them, guys.
It's
I can
too
confirm the
much.
corpses.
Oh my god. Apparently my
So
father was
many.
like putting the kayaks on the car one day and they were literally swarming him. My mother had to go outside with the fly swatter and like protect him because they were like
Oh my
flying around his
God.
face and everything. It was like so bad. Horrifying.
See, we're getting a couple around here. I feel like they're going to explode in the next couple days, and then all hell is gonna break loose.
Not okay. I'm so
like, I gotta ready my mop. I gotta ready my mop to kill them.
yeah, so bad. So terrible.
They are evil.
But all Ko-fi members should be looking forward to the Smaugust post. Well, actually, all Medic members should be looking forward to the Smaugust post that is coming out tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
It is a delicious smogus.
It's very good. I spent way more time on it than I had intended. I don't regret because I got into it. But like, wow. All right.
It is
And then
lovely.
what's lovely is that even because I did something today, even non-Ko-fi members will be getting some Smaugust posts because for free, people will be getting to see
treating everybody.
these fun. Well, I love them too much, and I'm always sad that like all the fun stuff gets to only Ko-fi members. But I just, you know, there's only so much time that Ori has. So, and backlog is nice. But today, I had actually done some sketches, a whole sketch spread of Smaugust, and I then tried to use my art machine and the app Procreate to color in the sketches of my sketchbook digitally. Pastry Puff Smaugust is a art challenge, an art month challenge.
Featuring dragons.
But it features dragons because it's based on Smaug from the
Hobbit movies.
yeah, thank you, the Hobbit movies. Lovely.
Okay, we'll get you there.
Hey, it was a good quote, guys. I knew what was gonna happen as I said it, and I just kept it in. But yeah, so it's all about dragons and dragon themed stuff and prompts and you know, it's a daily art challenge for the month of August that's themed around dragons. And so I don't have the time, the mental capacity, or just the effort, desire to do a monthly daily art challenge anymore. I admire the artists that can, but I am not an artist that can. I have successfully only completed one monthly art challenge out of the numerous that I have participated in. I've only successfully completed one.
It's an endeavor.
But I do like the idea of themed months. So, you know, I enjoy taking that and rolling with it. And so I made it Outcast. I made a Dragon AU. Literally, I made a Dragon AU. That's basically what happened. Out of my brain.
Made a straight up Dragon AU.
I straight up made a Dragon AU. There's lore and shit. There's forms and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, and now everybody for free will get to experience a little bit of the Dragon AU because I ended up digitally coloring some, so that's what the Ko-fi members will get. But everybody else will get like some of that regular stuff. Because I had a lot of fun with the sketches. They're very loose, but I like that. I liked how loose they were.
Very, very chef's kiss. So good.
And then I have about 2 more Ko-fi Smalgust posts cooking in the brain. And they're for Medic. And I think that'll be it. He's eating cake. What do you miss? Oh yeah, you gotta check out the Animal Crossing ones, Enthuse. There's a total of 2 posts.
Ooh,
I think only
one
one is out.
Mason.
What kind of cake?
That's what
I think the other one comes out. I don't even remember. I know I have 2 posts for the Animal Crossing ones. And Mars said some of them would be stickers. Okay, this is the second one. So last week had one, and this week has the second one. And I did like only some of the... Honestly, only Ferrex has a good base model in the actual game. The cat base is very good for Ferrex. But I will say, not a fan of the official, like, crocodile ones. And then both birds are just not very Aster shaped, and there's no shark. So I did the best that I could. I think Ferrex and Milano's designs are my favorite. Besides, Villager Hotsun is really good. I don't like the head of the eagle though, Enthuse. I felt like the head didn't fit the Aster. I don't know. I don't know. But Milano turned out great. Ferrex turned out fun. Hotsun looks cute. Sinnet, undecided. Undecided.
You know, they don't really have any fish.
They don't have a shark. I did see someone draw a shark, though.
That's for a reason.
Someone did draw, like, shark villagers. I can't complain about the fish. I can and I will.
She can. Because she did the realistic face trend, she can complain about face shape.
Okay, this artist, his name is Zyghost on DeviantArt. They did shark villagers.
I am eating some trail mix.
And their art of their shark villager body base is what I based Sinnet's shark body base off of. But it's like,
okay, those are cute. I could see those.
They're really cute. And you enjoyed the Sinnet one. I think the problem that I like always run into is like, because they all have human heads, right? Collars have human heads. You run into the like, a lot of these are too animal-y, right? If that makes sense. So it's like, how do I make this still a Sinnet shark and not just a walking shark version of this? You know, how does it be Sinnet, right? How does the alligator be Milano and not just a blue caiman alligator villager? You know what I'm saying? That's like the tough difficulties there.
Therein lies the balance.
Therein lies the rub. Therein lies the rub. But these are really cute.
They're adorable.
But I'm really happy with the Milano one, and I'm very happy with the Ferrex one. And Villager Hotzen looks cute. Okay, let's show off just Villager
they do.
Hotzen because he's very cute. And then everyone still would want the Kofi for everything else. But here's Villager Hotzen for everybody who didn't get to see because of the Kofi. There's your free version
Look
of
at the
Villager
little
Hotzen.
guy.
Mars said that the last post's ones would be good stickers. But my problem
I thought
is
they would be.
doing the Animal Crossing like coloring style, right? Because they're lineless, technically. You know? It's like a weird balance.
Technically, they are, yes.
They're 3D models. Or at least, I think they're always been 3D models. But, so there's like a painterly way to do it.
Animal Crossing has never been 2D to my knowledge.
Yeah, they've always been 3D models. I will say Animal Crossing in the style of old Pokemon would have been really cute, though.
That would have been adorable. Oh my god. If there's not a fan game based off that, I'll be very surprised.
I bet there's not, if I'm being honest.
Ugh.
It would be so
Modding
cute, though.
community, get on that, please.
Alright. Which character am I deciding to do next? Sinnet, because he only has one besides the one I already did. So look at him!
Let's do
Look
Sinnet.
at him! Look at this! He's cooking. They're cooking so hard. I don't know what I
is in
fucking
the
did.
pose.
Jim Hawkins
They are beautiful.
possessed me. Jim Hawkins came into my room at night and possessed me, and I drew this. I don't know what happened. I really don't. I'm like doodling, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is fine. And then I like took a second, and I like came back, and I went, fuck. What did I do? How did we get here? That was just the sketch. I was like, I need to show Mars the sketch because like,
You
what
said,
the fuck?
yes.
Damn, all right.
Yes.
Okay. And that's all she wrote.
He is channeling his inner adventurer.
It's so good.
He's ready.
Oh no, he's hot indeed.
He is.
I guess I have to, just for you enthuse, I will have to make Sinnet Dragon.
I think a shark dragon could work.
Oh, he's the only other one I'd like, definitely like, very dragon would work. I could probably make Ferrex and Aster dragons as well, but Sinnet I very much see dragony.
I can definitely see that. It can happen, Ori. Make it happen.
Yes, I'll try. Why is your hair not doing what I want? Sinnet. Tiny, tiny Sinnet. Okay, this
That's
is
the fun thing about drawing the super tiny versions. Like, when I'm coloring in these characters, I feel like the tiny versions go so quickly.
Oh, there's so nothing.
Because they're so tiny and so cute.
I think I can't check sadly because the art fight chant thing is down, but I think Sinnet has the most art overall.
I think he does. We actually did a tally of that
From
a few
art
weeks
fight
ago.
though. Versus,
from
I
art
will
fight.
say, overall, I think Milano still wins. I'd have to
I think
actually
Milano
check
is
again.
Still pretty popular.
There's a see. The
People
question is, do you
like
count
their
ones?
Milano.
Do you count ones where there are multiple characters? Multiple outcast characters, right? Because in art fight, I count the one character being in a
would.
group attack as one.
I would count that because if they're choosing to draw those characters, then they must like those characters specifically. Therefore, are fans.
Ooh, then I can't count the ones that have Milano as the specific request. See? He is a very fun character to draw.
Welp.
I understand why people gravitated towards Sinnet, Milano, and Hotzen, I think, the most in art fight. Mostly because they're kind of the easiest. They don't have a lot of... They're just, like, people in the face, right? So if you just draw, like, a bust, you know, that's not very hard. That's the, okay, see, that's the thing. For next time, next art fight, guys, yeah, I know, we're already planning ahead, but next art fight, I really want to have, because this was brought up, I've started hanging out in Rage Paint Games community a little more, because she joined Art Fight as well this year, which was very fun.
Nice.
And it was like last year was her first year as well, which was my first year of actually doing it. I've known about Art Fight since like 2019, if not older than that, which is wild to think about. But because I've had an Art Fight account since 2019, I just never actually got around to participating, which is understandable because 2019 I was in college and then graduated college that December. And then 2020, I worked my ass off, and 2021 I also worked my ass off. So it makes sense that I didn't get to do it until 2023, if we're being completely honest.
I do agree, Enthuse. Furry is very Ferrix adjacent. Yes, that's totally what I wanted to say.
Yes. See, but I would say
you're
that
right.
Ferrix is very Kimono Mimi, though. Like, the most out of anybody. Right? But I don't know. And I think Aster's wings are intimidating. You gotta
Aster's
be a
wings
real
are.
wing freak if you're a wing like me, you know? I'm a wing freak.
You gotta be a wing fan.
A wing fan.
Just wing it. Go for it.
Uh-huh, wing it. Back to, so I was in Rage Paint Games community a lot during Art Fight specifically, and she brought up a good point, and that was like, you know, people have preferences on what they like to draw, right? A lot of people put that in their profile of like, will draw these things, won't draw these things, right? And so Rage specifically made like tried to make a bit of a point of having like a variety of character types to choose from, so that people would, because, you know, while I obviously have a preference, I'll still give it a shot if I like your character or whatever. I'm not like, I will not draw XYZ. If I like it, I'll do it, you know, if I'm in it.
Oh, thank you
But-
for showing them some love, Pastry Puff.
Yeah, thank you, Pastry Puff. We got one other one, I think, from Art Fight this year. One other Ferrix.
I think so.
I don't think there's a... I can actually check. Why am I guessing? We freaking have a fan art thing where I put them all.
Yeah, we can check
Yeah,
that.
we had a
got
ton of
the data.
Milano in the end. These are Streamiversary stuff, not that. Yeah, we had 2 Ferrixes total, and we've had 1 Aster. For Art Fight specifically. Everybody's been drawn at least once in like group stuff and other things. But so back to what I was saying. They have like different types of characters, right? So they had like a pretty much a human one. Enthuse. So I will say, Everett had no attacks and probably wouldn't have had any attacks unless Rage Paint, who attacked Everett, specifically looked for one of the characters like Pastry Puff did that didn't have attacks, right? To see if there's a character that didn't have any attacks. So Everett, if Rage chose just by what she liked, it probably still wouldn't have been Everett. I definitely like to choose. I do like a 2 take, right? It'll be like, I personally, first and foremost, will be like the character that I like the most design wise. If I'm between a few characters, then I'll do it like, oh, this person hasn't been attacked, you know, this character hasn't been attacked, right? That's how I'll sort it. But so back to what I was saying.
You have to assemble a fan.
A ceiling fan, a tower fan,
Floor
what kind of fan? Yeah, box fan. What kind of fan do you assemble? I can only think of a ceiling fan as being when you really... Well, I guess I had to put my... I had a couple pieces to put my tower fan together. But basically, Rage Paint Games
some effort.
made like a little cute character. And then like I had a couple of fully Anthro characters. And then had... like a basically human character, which is what I did, the Gajinka of Noivern. And then had like a monstrous character, which is basically a big dragon fox thing, which is really cool and probably the next one I'm gonna do. Not a ceiling fan, one of those tall fans. The tall, long fans, I think those are tower fans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. An android who's a fan of a TV show. Aw, dang, sad it wasn't that. And it was just so that people could attack you no matter what their personal preference of art was, right? Because, like, some people don't want to draw humans, or some people, you know, only want to draw cats, you know, whatever it is. And so I was trying to think about it where it's like, I'm sorry, I love my boys too much. I really don't want to make, like, new OCs to have for art fight. But I do like the premise of that. Like, you know,
Averett's about to have a couple buddies be revealed.
Yeah,
soon,
but they're all
so
still human-y. You know what I'm saying?
Added to the lineup.
They're all still humans and stuff. You know, so the idea is to get, like, different character types. I'm drawing Hotzen's jacket and Sinnit, and that's not what I want to do. And so, I was thinking that the way to do it would be to give everybody a feral form and give everybody a full anthro form. Well, obviously not Everett, and then give everybody, like, a little cutesy form, something like that. And so that's probably the next art fight goals. And of course, I want to make sure they have all their alternate outfits, canonical or AU, in their true character sheet.
Oh, it'd be like that, MP. Hopefully the fan is on you and helping cool you off.
Yeah. Hopefully it's welcome and not... Supposedly we'll be getting AC tomorrow.
Oh, that will be nice.
Supposedly we'll get our AC back tomorrow, and Dylan can finally stop cooking alive.
That'll be a plus.
Yeah. I think he'll be he's already a decently happy camper, but he'll be an even happier camper. Speaking of campers, my parents just got their camper.
Oh.
Yeah. And then they
Wow,
almost ran out of gas.
Oh, geez.
Because they didn't get gas before getting the camper, and they didn't really need it until they got the camper. And then towing a camper takes up a lot of gas, guys.
And then they realize they need the gas.
And it was like, oh shit, we need gas.
Ooh, I look forward to seeing that page.
If you do a full Magical Girl Pepper outfit, I might have to do Pepper again then. I might have to draw Pepper again. See, that's another... Usually with Art Fight, I do try to not draw the same character twice. So I do try to, like, do characters. But if you're gonna give Pepper a whole Magical Girl outfit, I might have to do something with that.
It's gotta be done.
We'll see.
There's no question.
I really like doing the tail wag animations. That's really fun. So far, I have new goals. So since this was only my second art fight, I've made traditions now, I feel. So that I'm going to my goal is to uphold them next art fight. It's not very hard traditions. One is, I have to draw a cat boy every art fight. It's required. Just so it doesn't matter whose.
This is mandatory.
Someone has to, specifically a cat boy. I did it accidentally 2 years in a row, and now it is thus a thing.
Oh, there's a cast now, Pastry Buff?
Ooh.
2 others. We got the trio. We got the trio of friends. We got the magic trio.
Ooh, definitely,
Let's go.
Pastry Puff. Definitely. If there's gonna be more magical girls, I'm totally in on this. Oh, Mars, also, I don't know if you saw, but Cute Earth High Defense Club, the movie is on Crunchyroll, so we can watch it easy.
I did see.
So that's nice.
I was very pleased.
I'm very pleased. Exactly.
I think Case Files of Jeweler Richard might be our next, like, 3 test, because the other one definitely seems to be, like, too much in a direction we might not want. Like, it's too much Noir meets Death Note, so...
Ooh, yeah, a little too much.
I might preview that one just to see, and then I'll report back.
Okay. I'm ready. We have Space Battleship, and then the other one.
Defense.
Yep. and
Movie.
then Julia Roberts. And that's usually what we get in. We've gotten in a movie and then 2-3 shows, and that's what we've done the last 2 times.
We have Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
You mean Julia Richard?
Yeah, that's what yes, that is what I meant.
Okay.
They are the same initials. At least it wasn't out of thin air, okay? There was something happening. Was it good? No.
I'm being so lost. I'm like, are we going to be watching Pride and Prejudice? I wasn't
yeah. So Enthuse says, I draw the entire characters even when they're covered by foreground items. So, Enthuse, yes and no. If these were solid, no, I'd just cut it off. But, sadly, none of these things are solid. The wheel is not solid, the railing is not solid, and so I need to draw the entirety of the character so that when the railing is in place, I can just erase the parts that are covered by the banisters and leave the parts that aren't. If it was literally a solid wall, I wouldn't be doing this. But that is the problem, unfortunately. It is not a solid wall.
Nope. No, it's not. Usually when I'm coloring the flats, there are no items surrounding the characters. I usually just get the characters and then color those in.
Because I don't draw the backgrounds as fully until after that, because honestly, it's just how I need to work in order to not hate doing everything. Basically, if I had to line the entire background and the characters before I gave it off to Mars, I would probably die. Thankfully, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Getting able to sort of have a moment and then come back to it is very, very nice. That's not best practice. Best practice is everything is lined first and then everything is colored. Just because then it means like it fit in the space. But what I do is I make sure that I don't shade the characters until I've done the backgrounds, because that's what really makes it fit in the space, the rendering. So yeah. But yeah, if it's good practice to draw all parts of a character, if it is just going to be cut up by something, not fully blocked by something, because it allows for easy, like, continuity, right? And it's always, the joke is that, like, this is the saddest part, is when you have to erase all that stuff you drew, but you have to draw it so that it's in the right spot. There's like it went around, there was like an artist that drew, I think it was Gato from JJK, and his shirt didn't cover all of his torso, but like half of it or something. And so to make sure that like the abs and the pecs are like all in the right place, the artist drew his entire torso and then erased the parts that were underneath the shirt. And that's the joke, is like, no, the worst part, when you have to erase all of the abs and stuff, all the hard work you did. But it just means that like they belong, everything is where it belongs, and not like being weirdly disjointed or in the wrong spot. And that's why.
And now you know.
And now you know.
I thought he was about to get the little clothes brought eyes. Oh, he does!
It's basically...
Oh, look at that happy little boy.
What am I doing? This is on the wrong layer.
Ah, crap.
Okay, I fixed it. It's okay.
Shit, banana split.
I blame Dylan. I wasn't drawing the faces on really tiny things. And then Dylan was like, they should all have faces. And I'm like, they're so tiny. He's like, do it anyway. I like that better.
So guys,
Now I
thanks
draw
to
them all the
Dylan,
faces.
you now get faces on the tiny characters.
And even the tiny characters that no one will ever fucking see because you see it at this size. Oh yeah, that makes so much of a difference. Oh, ooh-wee. No face with face. Ah, amazing.
Such a significant difference.
Ah, all right. I drew all the Cynnets.
Bring the lovely face back.
I think I'm gonna do Milano next.
How about Milano?
Yeah, he seems to have the
I
least.
feel like Aster is the very last one.
But Ferrix has a lot of panels, so we'll see.
Well, he's the one who chose to be all flippy and
Yeah.
acrobatic. You know, he's got to move around. The panels cannot contain him.
The panels
Honestly,
cannot
I'm
contain
kind of
him.
waiting one day. So there are some interesting things that comic artists do to illustrate movement, and one of the things I've absolutely loved is the panel break, where a character or an element like breaks free of their panel and then enters the new one, or you have an element from one panel crossing into the space of another panel.
Yep.
I just find that so freaking cool, and I'm like, if anyone is going to do that, it's gonna be Ferrix
will-
either jumping to another beam, or it's gonna be Milano like doing the unguard thing with his sword.
It's
and
definitely
like jumping to another panel.
Yep. No things as usual,
Things are
Face
as usual.
No, definitely.
And how would you feel if you were on a boat in the middle of nowhere and had to rely on strangers?
And they're just going around doing stuff, and you don't know what's up. What should I do?
Why, that sounds like every internship ever.
There you go. I definitely like the panel break. I do plan to use it, but it is probably like a action heavy scene.
Oh, it's
and
reserved
not
for
just
high action.
yeah.
Not just a casual like.
And
this
not
is
just
happening.
a Ferrix is like I can't sit still.
Yeah, no.
I love my Ferrix can't sit still, but he also sucks, you know? It sucks because honestly, Ferrix would be so fun animated.
He is the reason we have to keep breaking up pages.
It's literally 99% his fault. Yeah.
Ferrix, I started with a nice, simple 5-page entry.
Okay, Mars.
Nice and simple, and he grew it into 9.
No, Ferrix is definitely ADHD, 100%.
Oh, 100%.
There's no, he's very ADHD.
Absolutely.
I feel like we very much see that in the end of entry 2.
Oh, big time. He's just doing his best.
He is just doing his best.
No, literally, the last few business meetings, Ori and I have had to split up at least 2 to 3 of the entries. And most of it is because Ferrix can't stop jumping and moving. Usually
Yes,
he's the
Pastry
culprit.
Puff. It's so good. It's done so well. What I like is so you haven't watched it yet, but in Sasaki and Miyano, the way that the artist from the actual manga does is that what I really like is that they kind of all have little side conversations in a way, where like very much their daily life, and it really gives you the feel of there's a bunch of conversations going on, and but they like make sense and they're talking about stuff, and so it's little dialogue that happens outside of the bubbles. Right, so it's not like the main thing the character is saying, but it'll be like, oh, hi Sasaki, yeah, I will take, that, thank you for the thing, or oh, can you hand this out to somebody else, and then, what's up, how are you doing? Oh, thank you, I'll take that, these sort of things, like how it would be if you're like in a classroom with a bunch of people, but the main thing you want to focus on. In the anime, they don't have those lines voiced, but they will like pop up on the screen and you'll have the little extra dialogue that pops up, and I really like that. It's really cute. It's not like fourth wall breaking like they do in Aron, but it is like a nice little like extra thingy.
a nice little inclusion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. I gotta say, in Sasaki and Miyano, they really feel like high schoolers.
It's so
Just the way
good.
the dialogue is written, the way they all interact with each other, I'm like, yep, these are high schoolers. I do not question this.
It's so good.
I need to start Hirano and Kagiura.
Oh, please read it, please. I started, I Hear the Sunspot today a little bit.
Oh!
I had a lot of free time today. So I started that.
Lantern flies.
Yeah, but that was at 7:15.
Oh god, that's a terrible way to start the morning.
Oh yeah, it really woke me up.
I bet, but Jesus.
Yep. What was I saying? Yeah, I read that. I got my first chapter of the book. Very interesting. I'm very intrigued. Ready to see. It honestly had a lot of things that I was not expecting with from the like blurb. So very intrigued. Not in a bad way. More in like a story framing way, you know? I'm like,
It goes in some interesting directions. What I really liked about it is back in undergrad, I had to take a class on deaf culture and heritage. And I also had to take a class about people who are hard of hearing. It was very interesting learning about all those different elements of essentially a culture, basically.
Oh, it is a
lot
culture.
of that is touched upon in this manga, which I was very impressed by. Like, I never in a million years expected to see that in a manga. And to hear them go so in depth with it and also like use the appropriate language, I'm like, holy crap.
well, I also
This is
find
good.
I find a lot of characters we've seen recently have been like deaf since birth sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this character is actually, he lost his hearing. Very freak, just a freak incident that unfortunately is a thing that can happen to people, and it's kind of scary. But
It is.
yeah, just
Sorry, you learned about polyps and nodules. Now you get to learn about hearing loss.
no, I know about hearing loss. I literally watched like another video where they're talking with like an audiologist about stuff. But yeah. So no, it's very interesting. But then I also read chapter 1 of In Deeper Waters.
Oh, I need to read that.
It's like there's definitely a lot of like elements that are not listed in like the like blurb. Whereas like, oh, this is an interesting sort of world that we're making, right? And I'm just like,
the thing I'm finding the blurbs on the back rarely capture what the book is actually about.
It's definitely.
Whether
I'm
for
very
good or
curious
bad.
how we're going. I like the author's writing style so far. I'm having a good time. It is nice.
Okay.
I definitely. There's a word that I was just like, wow, I've never seen this word used this way, but like that is correct, you know. And I was just like, it was using derelict as a noun and not an adjective, which is a thing, but weird when you read it and you're not used to that.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, it is a noun. And it is specifically used as the correct version of the noun, but it's definitely just like awkward in my personal brain to read because, you know, you think of derelict as an adjective.
Mason, that is the worst thing ever.
That's why they
Like,
have
please
inside
tell
covers.
me what the book is about.
Yeah,
Don't just give
usually
me a whole bunch of quotes.
I usually see that happen when the book has like a dust jacket, and then it's the inside
They always do that
cover?
when there's a dust jacket.
because
Yeah,
the
like that
inside cover
flap.
that's the flap where you get the synopsis. The back is where they put the things. But if it's a soft cover book and thus doesn't have a dust jacket, it has to be a description. And I gotta tell you, I don't need it to be. Yeah, no, exactly, Pastry Puff.
It doesn't have to be like super detailed, but it's got to give me a reason to want to read it.
It took me 3 times to read that, Enthuse. So it was an interesting thing I had like heard about on the internet a while ago. Someone was having like a talk about how like when you have, say, like fan fiction and just like the way that tags work on the internet, you can really get down to like specific things if you wanted to, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
look at like the culture of like AO3 tags, right? You can get very specific with like exactly what's happening without spoiling, you know, any of the story that you're telling, which is wild. But it does
you get
mean
the
that
summary, and then you also get the tags, which really
Yeah.
help.
But it does mean that people can stay kind of like in a bubble, which can be bad, you know, versus saying like, oh, horror, but like what kind of horror? You know, like all this sort of stuff. There's like different
Like
layers.
logical
And what I
horror,
think
physical
needs to
horror,
happen
jump
is that the
scare.
synopsis needs to give you enough information to tell you exactly, you know, exactly what the biggest part is, right? Like we're reading a book that's romance, I guess I would say, right?
Well, okay, Ori,
Is it-
when I bought that book, I literally bought it because the recommendation written on the little index card next to it said, for those of you who miss our flag means death. And I was like, yes.
Again, I'm very excited. All I'll say is there's like, it's magical. Okay, there's like magical stuff. It's very fantasy. It's not like just straight
Well, that's
pirates.
even more up my
So,
alley.
but what I'm saying is that great. I love
But I
that.
didn't
I
know
want
that.
that. Yeah, didn't know that. Didn't know that at all.
I
Didn't know
had
magic
no idea
existed
that
in
was
this
the
world.
thing going
Didn't-
on.
And so
I
I'm
didn't
a
think there
little.
was magic in that.
So I'm glad that Mars picked it up, but we would have been even more into it if it was like something said that there was magic or cool creatures and shit, right? Like
we might
it's just
have
like,
even read it sooner than we actually did.
oh, you can't read it. What's the difference? When someone writes invalid instead of invalid, invalid, invalid.
Kind of sends your brain for a hoop.
Yeah. So an invalid, the sick person, or it's invalid, like it's not valid. Like when I fucked up wound and was it wound and wound? Yeah, wound and wound.
Yes. We need to take care of that wound. Wait, what?
No. It was supposed to be wound, and I said wound, and it was so bad. Yeah, I know, Pastry Puff. I read it like 3 times, and I'm like, I know these are 2 different words. And then my brain switched them
It
both
all
times.
depends on where you're placing the stress in the word.
Every time I read,
Are you
those are
placing
called
it
something,
on the nuclei, or are you placing it on the first syllable?
and that's called something. It's not a homophone because it's not a homophone, but it has like
No,
a word
it's
like a
not a
homophone.
homophone.
But every time I read it, Enthuse, I switched them up. So it was like when someone writes invalid instead of invalid, or me when someone writes invalid instead of invalid. Like every time I switched it, I read it, I switched it because my brain was just like, no, you can't keep it. Yeah, we have a lot of those. But this one I'm pretty sure is pronounced the same way, derelict, but it's mostly used as an adjective, but it has a very specific noun use, which is correct, but it's definitely just like reading it and you're like, the derelict what? The derelict what? The derelict what? And it's like, oh no, the thing is a derelict. That's weird. So again, not a
I'm
gripe,
looking
just
it
a-
up. It doesn't appear to have a word.
Huh?
I'm looking it up. What that terminology is when a word's spelled
Oh,
the same,
it
but
does
if you
have a
change the
word.
stress, it has different meanings. I'm trying to find it. Word stress. But what's it called? Rules of word stress. Contrasting noun
When
verb
a
stress.
word is spelled the same but pronounced different. I think it's called, it's a heteronym.
Heteronym. Okay.
So a homophone Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because a homophone,
Homophone is like
it
meat
spelled
and meat.
is it spelled different but they sound the same?
Different, but sound the same.
Homophone, same sound, right?
Yes.
Homonym would mean that it's different words but it means the same thing, right? Or they sound different but they're spelled the same. No. Yeah, that would be something. A homonym is something. And then a heteronym is they're spelled different, is they're spelled the same but they sound different. A homonym is something as well.
Yeah.
You can be it.
A homonym would be like, well, that's a terrible
Two or more
example.
words having the same spelling but different meanings.
Bear and bear. The
That's
noun
a
bear and the
homophone.
verb bear. It's calling it a homonym for some reason.
Interesting, because homophone.
Because bear, no, wait. Bear and bear are spelled the same.
Oh,
Like,
different
to
bear. I'm thinking B-A-R-E. Yes, that is
Yeah, no,
both.
not like bear skin. To bear,
Yeah.
like to bear arms.
Yes, not to be bear.
That's
yeah.
a homonym.
Yes, and a homophone.
And a homophone because then you have bear and bear.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be that B-A-R-E. Yeah. There you go.
B-A-R-E, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then you
So-
have like my bear skin.
Yeah. So read and red are homonyms. No, but then what's a heteronym? No, those are heteronyms because you pronounce them differently. Read and red are pronounced differently, so they're heteronyms.
Yeah.
But derelict and derelict would be homonyms.
So that would be like hair to rip. No. Wait. Two have different sounds and meanings but are spelled the same. So tear to rip is spelled like tear, meaning
No,
water
but that's a
tears from your eye.
heteronym.
Yeah, that's a heteronym. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Duck and duck are homonyms. That's what it is.
Yes.
Two duck
yes.
and a
Two
duck.
duck and then a duck.
But
the
lead.
stress is not changing.
Oh yeah, lead and lead.
Those
Okay,
words
yeah,
are too
God.
short that there's no place to even change the stress on that.
Well, but so a heteronym is specifically the stress or the pronunciation?
No, heteronym has to do with the pronunciation.
Different pronunciations.
Different pronunciation, but spelled the same. I'm trying to find, maybe if I do heteronym, stress, change. Okay, well, change became cane because I don't have my H or G
yes.
key. Guys, I'm getting a new laptop this weekend, and I will be so happy to have a keyboard again.
Ooh, a heteronym is specifically a homograph that is not a homophone. Okay.
Okay, wow.
Oh, there's a lovely chart. Let's open this
All
lovely
the stuff
chart.
they don't teach you in first
Let's
grade,
open
you
this
know?
lovely chart. Let's look at this chart. Look at this chart. All right. We have a homophone, which is the same pronunciation with a different meaning. So just like Enthuse said, lead the element and led to show the way. Okay, but you could also say
In the past tense.
pair and pair, P-E-A-R, P-A-R-E, and P-A-I-R are also homophones. They have the same pronunciation but different meanings. However, if they're spelled differently, they're then a heterograph, which is they're spelled differently, where lead and lead is a homonym.
Okay,
Right?
I see this here. Different pronunciation before the vowel
not
sound or
talking
before the
about that,
consonant
Mason.
sound. No. Although I was listening to a lot of Am I the Asshole Reddit posts before jumping on stream tonight.
Well, then it's not a then it's not a heteronym.
Well, then it's
Enthuse. I'm sorry. It's not a homonym because they sound
they're spelled
differently. Okay,
there's-
this is the graph. I understand it now, but my head hurts. Trying to explain it. The graph explains it better than I possibly could.
Is this what the kids are learning nowadays? 'Cause
No.
I gotta be prepared, man.
It's not what the kids are learning, and sadly, it's unfortunate. Every time I think about this, though, all I can think of is the VeggieTales song. Weather, 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 whether you like it or not. Weather, 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 weather. It's cold, warm, hot. I went two of my favorite toys, and I brought them to a place the first one enjoys, and I like it too. Homophones, homophones. And this goes on and on.
The homophone song I have is the Between the Lions one, where you got the mom lion, Cleo, singing with some singer at the time. I don't remember if he was big or not, or if he was just like maybe an extra. He did have a very good voice, but the one line I remember from that is when they go, when we meet, and then they show like a piece of me in front of them, and then they go, not that kind of meat.
Oh, yes.
Homophones.
I know which one you're talking about.
That one is forever ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, I have the Larry one.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Indus, your like lead and lead example though, all I can think about is the Polar Express. What, lead? No, it could also mean lead. And it's like, oh.
Your leadership. Lead the way.
Yeah. So good. That's a good movie.
Oh, it's so good. I have to watch it every holiday season. It's just got a nice, cozy feeling to it. Like, how could you not?
Animation, you know, people don't necessarily like it.
I don't give a
think
crap
overall,
about that. It was
it's
2000
nice. Also,
something, and the
I gotta
first
tell
time
you-
with the technology. Also, guys, another movie that uses that technology that's super underrated, friggin' Monster House. God, that movie's really good.
Ooh, I watched that once, yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
The ending
I
surprised
watch that
me.
every Halloween now.
The ending,
love
like,
it.
surprised me the first time. Lettership, yes.
Lettership.
What was I gonna say? Also, like, I'm sorry, the conductor literally just looking like Tom Hanks, though, is, like, pretty fucking great.
It's phenomenal. Having him play 3 roles is also really interesting.
Yes.
Like, I feel like you can make some theories based on that.
People have, man. Oh, people have. But also, I love the hot chocolate song.
My parents still quote it to this day.
It's so good. Every time it comes up, I definitely go, hot, hot. All I can think about is when we did it in Turnabout Goodbyes.
Oh, yeah. He's got it. We got it.
Yeah.
She's got it. It's all
Hot.
good.
We got it, hot, hot. She's got it, hot, hot. We've got it, hot chocolate.
Sometimes they do, Mason, but I feel like the story there is just... It's engaging. I don't mind the animation too much.
I don't think the animation was ever as bad as people made it out to be. I will say the elves in
The elves are a
Polar
little
Express,
creepy.
they're a little unsettling. Everybody else, though, I don't find to be as uncanny valley as people like say they are. They're definitely like stiff, but I'm not like creeped out by them. The elves, I feel like even if they were like not mocapped, still would have been creepy with the design that they are.
It's in good hands.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was like, do you want us to think that they're evil? Excuse me.
How about no? That little boy is never seeing that present again. Don't give it to him.
Terrible. Oh, you recognized it.
Like Monster House, it actually kind of works because
Had you
one,
not seen
it's
it
a
before,
scary
Deuce?
movie. Things looking unsettling is kind of par for the course. But then also, like, they're more exaggerated in Monster House. They're more cartoony there. So it's just a better balance.
It's definitely more stylized in Monster House, 100%.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Polar Express, I find overall is just kind of stiff. I think the Tom Hanks one looks fine.
To make it as realistic as possible.
Yeah, that's honestly the one like I wanna watch the Tintin movie.
It's good. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Watch It's great. It's great. You're going to get your action adventure mystery
I just
vibe.
want Tintin to look like the comic books, though.
But he does. He's just 3D.
It's not the same.
He's just 3D.
And you suppressed it.
Good. Watch it.
Well, I'm glad we could come full circle with it, Enthuse.
Ah, brilliant.
I love, like, getting to rewatch the videos and being like, oh yeah, we quoted that. I'm excited. I will say, technically, I'm behind in the year by a lot. Like how far ahead stream is compared. But soon I get to jump back up because Dylan did the bar. But not yet, though. And we're just getting behind again already, so...
Ah, man.
Well, Dylan jumps back from the bar
life.
and it's August, right? So I'm not past the bar part yet.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Crazy
It's
how
one
time
of those,
flies.
like, existential crisis things when it's like, wow, these Ace Attorney videos are gonna, like, go on forever. It's one of those things where it's like, one, if the YouTube channel does decent, then at least I know that for a long time we have content, you know, and then there's not a concern about like coming up with new shit. But then there's also like, oh god, it's never
what happens
ending.
when we run out?
No. More, it's just like, it's never ending. You're gonna be 40 by the time this is over.
Guys, imagine we'll be doing this into our 40s.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing of being like, I want to keep doing it. It's really weird.
Yeah, I feel like if you can look at something and be like, I want to do this until I'm 40, you're in a good spot.
I think it's very interesting to think about the internet in that way, because even growing up, like, now I'm gonna like surprise myself. Hold on. Okay, good. He's about the age that I thought he was. Everybody that I, like, you know, watched as, like, a kid in early YouTube, right, is, like, in their 30s. Yeah, okay, good. I'm okay with this. They're in their 30s, okay? So, like...
I can live with that.
That feels like an age... Okay. Enthuse, are you saying editing the videos or playing the games? Because I think we're gonna be way done with the games before we're 40. I think we're gonna be done with the games by time we're 30. Like, streaming them. In the video editing, I'd be surprised. That'd be pretty fast. It feels like. But, yeah, so all the people that, like, when I was a child in, like, middle school, high school, that I watched on YouTube, they're in their, like, 30s, right? And so it's like, okay, this is, like, I can accept this age as, like, okay, you know, you're older than me, but I mean, at this point, you're kind of not that much older than me in, like, the scheme of things, right? You know, all this sort of stuff. But, like, I can imagine being 30 and being a YouTuber, because YouTube is still young in that sense. Imagine being, like, 40 is, like, kind of odd. Because I feel like in the space, there's a lot of, like, you're either young or you're, like, an old person on the internet. And it's just like, this is kind of interesting.
No in between.
And I think that's just something that happens just because, like, I mean, like, it doesn't look like these people that we're talking about are gonna fully retire soon, you know.
By then you'll be an adult. Oh no!
Wait, by which time, MP? Oh god.
Now I'm scared.
But it's definitely interesting to sort of think about. Because right now, most of the people that, like, I watch and interact with on the internet are, like the people that, like, I, like, watch content of, are, like, our age, right? Like, Mars and I's age. Like, pretty close.
Which is
around
kind of
that.
wild.
Which is interesting to think about, but it's like a comforting sort of thing. Like, this is the age where you do YouTube things, right? So in a way, it's like, okay, hopefully as we age, these people will also continue to do YouTube things, and it'll just still be like, okay. But now being that, like, we're like the second group age, of people doing YouTube, right? Like significantly, it's like weird where it still feels like that's gonna be old, you know? It's weird. but that's the difference, Enthuse. See, now that's the thing, right? Would it be... My brain has to catch up to my brain. Yeah, that made a lot of sense.
That should be a short distance if it's going to the brain.
As we get older, does it stay not cringe, right? Or is there a level where suddenly now we're cringe old people on the internet, right? That's the fear. And I think that it won't be that way because of the people who are like the generation before us.
Cool.
But like the generation before us, right? Like I'm talking like Markiplier, Matt, Pat, you know, Jacksepticeye, Captain Sparkles, like them, you know, who are like 10, you know, roughly 10 years older than us. I don't find them to be cringe older, you know, online people or anything, right? They're still the same. Their age didn't matter, right? So I hope, I just hope that when we are 30 and still playing Ace Attorney and being the same people that we are basically, that it won't be weird for the internet.
We'll see.
End of apologist is you might be 18 and that scares you. Life goes on. Don't let the future actually scare you. I'm not actually scared. As long as we're having fun, you know. Like I said, I just hope the YouTube gets to a point where it supports itself. I don't plan on it being my job.
Hey, there you go, Enthuse. That's the attitude.
God, there was like a short someone did, and it was like being an athlete is like wild in age and like depending on the thing, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, Michael Phelps, 30's old for his sport, but he's still going or something, and then it's like all this about, you know, like, this 18-year-old about to retire something, and then it's like, oh, this 52-year-old is just at the start of their career in, you know, shooting and all this sort of stuff. And then it's like, oh, skateboarding, this 16-year-old, you know, ancient player is about to make their last run at the Olympics and they're gonna retire. And it's just like wild how that goes, how they think of it that way, you know? I mean, honestly, like, if you're able to retire that young, like, actually retire, that's pretty neat. I would take that.
That it is. That would be nice. And I could just enjoy my rest of the time here on this earth.
Yeah, let me retire now.
Let me retire and go traveling, please. I'm ready.
Yeah, but Enthuse, is he really retired? Because I don't know. He's still doing shit. I gotta. It's more like he's retired from being the main face of the channel, but he's still in it. I gotta tell you.
He always comes back.
He always comes back. So it's more just like an interesting thing to think about.
The more wild thing, besides all the YouTubers I've watched retiring, is all the YouTubers I've watched having kids.
Well, but
that's the one that throws me for a loop, because I'm like, you were just a person in your own basement filming like video games in the corner. Now you have a family? Wait, what?
But what I think is so interesting about that is that, like, my whole, like, weirdness about the whole thing that, like, makes it odd in my brain is the fact that, Mars, you and I are exactly as old as Google is.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, we are.
So YouTube is younger than Google, you know? So, like, how old is YouTube? YouTube is 19 years old, guys. If you're 19 years old, you are as old as YouTube is. Okay?
Congratulations.
So, it's like very young of a thing in the grand scheme of things, right? And the fact that at least, you know, people around Mars and I's age we experienced a big part of all these sort of mainstay things not existing and then existing and coming to the point that they are today. So we're very early in the grand scheme of things of being adults that knew about YouTube, that are getting on YouTube. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Yay, Enthuse older than YouTube. Like, I don't know how to explain how my mind is working. You know, like it's just... It's the same vibe
there's
of
a
like...
disassociation somewhere.
It's the
there.
same vibe, I would say, of you watched Disney movies as a kid, and now you're an animator at Disney making Disney movies, but that happened in the span of 10 years instead of 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Because being like a Disney animator is like a... I mean, you know, 40 is a long time. But I'm saying, like, if you watch Snow White as a child, Snow White has been around. You know, Snow White came out very early in Disney's career. When did Snow White come out? Snow White came out in 1937, okay? So you could be a child watching Snow White, which existed long before you were born, and then grow up to then make stuff. And let's say you get it kind of young, you know, so you get just out of college, let's say you're 21, 22, you know, and you get to work at Disney, you get lucky. That's still 15 years to work at a company that has been around since significantly before you were born, right? But now with the YouTube thing, this thing didn't exist until we were 6? 7? God, 7?
Yep.
You know, so like...
Pain.
And then going from this thing didn't exist to being some of the first people watching the first people doing the YouTube stuff, to then being now with that first group of people as the second wave, and then growing up alongside, like, there's not a precedence for it, I guess is what I'm saying. There's nothing to expect of what's beyond, right? Like, the people who are still around, the big names that are still around, are still kind of paving the way of still existing on the platform.
Oh yeah, they're still there.
Right? But
now there's also new creators coming up.
But it's like their existence on the platform means like, okay, you could be a 30-year-old doing YouTube, and I'm okay with that, right? Like, that doesn't actually hurt me. But because none of them are 40 yet, like, there's a very select few, but the majority of that, like, group are not 40s yet. They're late 30s still. It's like there's no precedence for being a 40-year-old on YouTube. Does that make sense? Because otherwise you have like the people who are 40 on YouTube and they're kind of cringe because they didn't grow up in the times, right? Because there's that whole thing about being like slang and not with it. And even though we joke about being like, oh, like Gen Alpha has weird slang and stuff, or, you know, millennials have different slang, being on the internet sort of morphs it into one still. And like, while you joke about like, oh, this is Gen Alpha slang, this is like millennial slang, this is like Gen Z slang or whatever, the fact that the internet exists in the way that it does, you know all of that slang. You're not like left behind as much as you could have been once upon a time.
No, you could still stay within the cultural zeitgeist.
You know, so it's very weird. So that makes it like, so there's not a precedence yet for being somebody that grew up. That's not very long. Triggered Enthuse. I think what gets me is they're doing it like it's specifically like a mock, it feels like, and not just like using a slang. You know what I'm saying? Because every time it comes up, it's not just like, oh, we're going about our everyday time and then like, oh, that's so demure, and then moving on. It's like the whole point of this video is to go, oh, look at me gently putting this thing on, how demure of me, how mindful, how calm, you know, oh, look, and it just ticks me off. It's the tone of voice, it's the whole thing.
Ori feels very strongly about this.
Have you not been seeing it it would have been fine if it was like once in a... I see it every time.
See, I'm
Every
not getting
time.
it as much for some reason.
It's like everybody has hopped
know
on the
why.
trend.
I'm getting it here and there, but I'm not like being flooded with
God.
them.
It feels like all the time. It just means for me that thankfully it means it'll die and we can live a happy life. Because if I'm being honest, the faster and harder that it hits, the quicker it dies and the fuller it dies. If it doesn't hit hard and fast, it won't really ever die.
True. This is how it goes.
Makes sense.
That
Enthuse.
is true,
But see,
Enthuse. I've
that's an
seen that
interesting
play
other
out.
thing. That's an interesting other thing about the internet. It's harder to know how old people are. Unless people tell you. You're kind of, and, you know, because one, even if you look at them, I wouldn't know what age Markiplier is or Captain Spark. Like, they look good. You know, like what I'm saying? Like, I don't... How would you know? It's such
They have
amorphous.
aged well.
And then on top of that, the amount of, like, commentary channels that I watch that just use avatars like we do. You never look an age. So... you would have to possibly use context clues, and that's still a wide range to be. So, you know, it's a very interesting sort of thing where you could possibly never know. And so it's always kind of a surprise sometimes to me when someone I'm watching, like, says their age, and it's like, oh, you're like a year older than me. You're a year younger than me. This is kind of weird. Only seen it once, Pastry Puff? Lucky.
Really? I have seen it at least 3 times, but I'm not seeing it everywhere.
I see it so much.
I guess I just haven't gotten it yet.
You totally become straight for him. He's not a real person.
Is it like he's playing a character?
I think only to an extent, if I'm being honest. I don't think anyone's ever fully, authentically
I think he
themselves.
just does whatever he
the thing.
wants.
But I don't know. My question is, do you think Dylan plays a character on screen? Like, I don't know.
No.
He doesn't, is what I'm trying to tell you. That's him all the fucking, like, this is not an
Absolutely
exaggeration. Dylan is way too much himself online.
This is not an online persona for him. That is just him.
He tried to explain the Ryan Reynolds. What's the Ryan Reynolds thing? I feel like Ryan Reynolds has a lot of things.
Shit, is this another one we missed? Also, look at our boy carry that anchor.
The I would be gay for Ryan Reynolds, like that one I know. I'm sorry, I just typed into Google,
What
is Ryan
happened?
Reynolds real? And the first thing that comes up highlights Canadian actor. Like I don't think he's real because he's Canadian. Oh, every straight man is bi, but only for Ryan Reynolds? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see,
No.
I see.
That's such a
Okay.
vibe. Oh, what was I looking at that gave me really, really strong... I read something, and I was like, wow, I'm very happy that this character is very bi. Why am I... Oh, no, it was Twilight Out of Focus. That's what it was. It was that Jin gives very bi-pan vibes, right? Because he talked about how he had, like, girlfriends and stuff, and it didn't seem like he felt in a way where he didn't want a girlfriend, right? It seemed very much like he was like, yes, I want a girlfriend, but they always leave me. So then when he's, like, obviously into Gichi, it just gave me... I was like, this is very nice to have, like, a bi-pan character, because sometimes they're sidelined. And I was just like, I like that. That was nice.
Representation.
That was very nice.
You are going to love... I think you watched episode 5.
I thought it was...
I think you still have 6 and 7 to go.
Probably. If you only just watched 7, I'm pretty sure I'm 2 behind.
I just watched 7, yeah.
Okay, so then yeah, I watched 5. That's what it was.
Okay.
But I don't know why
there is
she
no
couldn't
way
understand.
your reaction is only this, because so much more happened in...
No.
in
If there's
6.
only 7 episodes, then yes, I've only just watched 5. I watched the first one with them together.
Okay, you got 2 more to go.
Good. Very excited.
You're almost there.
I was laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard. Oh my god.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so
I was
friggin'
doing
well done.
like a video editing setup thing, which meant I had to like I had to keep pausing to like go and click stuff and then like go back to watching it. But I needed to pause it anyway because I was just laughing so hard.
Ori sends me a video message over Discord.
Yours was just as squeaky.
Barely
Yours was
talk,
just as squeaky.
which was hysterical. She's just like cracking up the entire time as she's trying to recount what happened in the episode.
Then you sent me one and it was just as squeaky.
Yeah, because it's 11 at night and
it
I'm
was
trying
about
not to wake up my
reads.
folks.
It was about reads.
But they were so cute.
They
and it was
are
so
so
good,
cute and
was
it's so
funny.
good. It's so good. Guys, read reads, please.
Please
That's honestly
read
my
reads.
biggest webtoon
It's so good.
recommendation, besides Outcast, of course.
If there was
you
a physical
haven't read
copy,
Outcast,
I would buy it.
I need to. I so would.
It's just...
It's just so good.
Also, Kang is my baby. I love him.
Yes.
Protect him.
Kang.
He fell so hard, and I'm here for it.
It's so good.
But Shu's slow burn is also very good.
Yes!
Adore. He's so good.
I'm so glad that like they got together though, you know? Like that it happened.
Me
Because
too.
otherwise it could have gone
at one
on and on
point.
and on, and it was like, oh please.
I am scared now. They're setting up stuff with this blood oath and all these like, you will have to kill him when you arrive, and I'm just like, oh no!
But Shu being like, yeah, I've been told that he's gonna kill me, but like, you know, if that's how it happens, I'd be happy to die by his hand. My boy, you got it bad.
He's so there. Also, that freaking line where he's just like, I don't want to be reincarnated if you're not there with me. I'm like, fuck!
So good. So good. Beautiful. What did she not understand though? I'm still on this. How does it not make sense? I like keep reading it and just being like, it's a very simple concept. It's a very simple concept.
It's pretty straightforward.
It's like... What? Does anybody else remember the trend where it was like Women Crush Wednesday and like Man Crush Monday? Does anyone else remember that? That was
my
like
God,
the
that was
same thing. And it was
hilarious.
literally the moment where like, if you're straight, you get the like corresponding one to be gay and no one will judge you and think that you're weird. And I was just like, why do you need that? Just be, you know, a little gay.
Everyone's awakening, honestly.
Exactly, Pastry Puff. Exactly. It's very
It is
simple.
a very concept.
Envy crush every day. There you go. Makes sense.
Perfect.
Makes sense. Cause you have plausible deniability all the time. Goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading this like blurb on Google because I still have the Is Ryan Reynolds Real open from Google on, and I'm just reading it, and it's like apparently it's from the Britannica, and it's just like. So, right, it has highlighted Canadian actor, but it says, known for being charismatic, quirky, and a quick-witted smart aleck. When is the last time I heard the word smart aleck?
That feels like such a parent thing to say.
It is such a parent thing. Because it's specifically being a smart ass, but the fudge version of it. Oh, I'm editing the playthrough that Grenade edited down into a
yeah.
compilation, and you multiple times say "oh fudge," and I just find it really funny because it's not like you hold back from cursing. It's just like, all right, it was food themed, I guess.
I can't remember if that was intentional or not.
I don't think so. It was
You know,
definitely in panic.
Okay, this is something I do, and I'm noticing it very often in myself, is when I'm like out and about or I'm talking with someone and like they don't know me very well, I am the one saying like, "Oh my gosh, no way," because like I don't know what they're gonna think if I say something else. I don't want to curse in front of them. I don't need to show them that side of me. Like, we're not at that level yet. You gotta work your way
You hear
up
that, chat? You've worked your
level.
way up that level, guys.
Oh no, like,
I won't
because
censor.
this recently happened yesterday. I had to go out for something, and I ran into someone there, and they're telling me a story. I'm just like, oh my gosh, no way! And I'm like, I sound like I don't even know what, a little Southern Catholic schoolgirl. Oh my gosh, like, what am I doing?
See, I definitely don't censor, like, saying "oh my god." It's definitely almost always "oh my god." I will say
think I
"oh my
became
goodness"
aware of it because I did have one person in my life express to me like, please don't say that, like, don't use the name in that sense. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like, I personally like don't go either which way, but I understand that that is your preference and you are my friend. I will respect that.
Yeah,
And then
gosh
I
is
guess
just
that
not one I
stuck
say.
with me so hard where I'm just like, I don't know what these people's feelings about that are, especially if they're old people. So I'm just gonna be like, oh my gosh.
I think that most of my things. See, I think the reason I don't go to gosh, I just don't like how gosh sounds in the mouth as much.
I don't like how it sounds
Right.
either. That's
But-
why
but
when
see,
I'm
I'll
talking,
say-
I feel so awkward.
But I will say, like, "oh my
this
goodness,"
sucks.
right? Which I never thought of as being like a self-censor, but I guess that it is, right?
It technically is.
It is, but but in my personal brain, it has a different vibe, right? So I will say them at different times, not because I'm trying to self-censor, just because this is what happens. Same with heck, right? Like, hell and heck have different vibes to me, right? I will never replace heck, like, oh, I'll never say like you're going to heck, like that's dumb. But
Yeah,
I'll be like,
no.
what the heck? Like that feels different, you know? Like or just like heck. You know, like just as
It
a
feels like
'cause the-
spontaneous, but there's also
the
a comedic edge to it.
That
Like,
is
that hard
true.
cutoff like leans into
But
it.
the
Like, what the
versus
heck?
the hell is just long, you know? But you know, I'll never be like, this is heck on earth, you know? It's like, no, that I'm
Yeah, no,
specifically
that just sounds
referencing
stupid.
the place, but I will like exclaim, ah heck, you know, randomly.
It's funny how the brains work like that. Like, we don't even think about it when we do it.
The biggest problem I run into sometimes is I'll say like shit or crap as like referring to like things, right? Like, oh, like all your shit, all your crap. But I'll like stop myself sometimes being like, yeah, can you move all that shit? Because I don't think that it is shit in the sense of that the things are bad and worthless,
No,
right?
it's more
but
just
it's
like,
more of like
shit is being
saying
used as a
things
placeholder for stuff.
for like stuff and things, right?
Instead of
But
saying,
but
like,
I'll have to
move
like
your
stop
stuff,
myself and be
move
like,
your
I don't
shit.
know what word to use here besides it, and my brain like stutters because it's like I don't want them to think that the things are bad, but I can't think of the word thing at the moment.
I just want
It's just
the
like, can you
stuff to
move
move.
this the you know,
No,
get all
guys,
your shit in the
here-
backpack.
Here's my pattern. I got some young people in my family, and I do try not to curse around them. I try to be good, but sometimes I slip. And my go-to when I slip, if I say like, "Oh shit," like this is how it goes. "Oh shit," I mean shot, shoot.
You're drawing too
Literally
much attention to it,
every-
Mars.
I know, but literally every single time, that is the pattern. Every single time. Like, if you were in my house one day and something dropped, you will hear, shit, shot, shoot! Just working my way down the list.
I'm trying to think. I don't usually say fudge. That's not. I will say frick or frickin', like, just interchangeably. It has a different vibe as well, just like heck, right? Like, it's another word. You know, like there's a point when the word becomes another word. If that makes sense. Like definitely in Ace Attorney. Like, I'm not worried or trying not to say fuck, right? But it's like, sometimes just frickin' is the one that comes out. You know, frickin' is just the frick, you know? It's just the vibe. I don't know how to say.
Hit combo.
It's just the vibe. So it's very interesting how words sort of I think it's really funny. I'll use, like, instead of saying, like, oh, you're such an ass, because I do find that has, like, a different connotation. So it's like, what a butt, you're a butt. You know, that's like a different, they're different connotations. However,
well, saying you're a butt is playful. Saying you're an ass is...
It can still be playful, but it's definitely leaning in a different direction.
More edge to
butt
it.
is like you're being goofy and annoying, and, like, you're an ass is like you're being annoying and walking the line, I guess. But my nanny, my mom's mom, really, really hates you're a butt. And it is also like a self-censor, right? Or it's like, you know, oh, I don't want to say anything else, you know, because, like, I don't curse around, like, my parents very much.
I don't want to offend nanny.
And it's just like, but saying, like, oh, you're a butt. My mom actually got to saying that. She'll, like, say, you're being such a butt right now. And and apparently, yeah, my nanny is like, this is so crass and this is terrible. This is so bad. And it's like, what? This is like the tamest word. What do you mean? Why is this so bad?
What's wrong with butt?
Yeah, it's just the times, I guess.
Free the butt.
Free the butt. Guys, if you watch anything today, this is your homework. If you haven't seen it, go watch Domix. It's Domix, and I think I feel like you could probably find it if you just search YouTube Domix the butt. But
okay,
find the actual name for it.
I was seriously wondering where this was going.
Domix the butt. What is it called? Okay, it's just called Butts by Domix. Okay, so it's comics, but it's spelled with a D instead of a C for the first one. So Domix. If you literally type in Domix Butts, it's the first thing that comes up. This is your homework. Watch it. I reference it too much. Oh, the butt. It's just so good. It's just very funny. It's just a good, I guess, heritage post because it's fucking 10 years old. End my suffering. You're older than 10 years old. Otherwise, those would be choking hazards. No, stop!
Dude!
Mars is yelling at you, Dylan.
She hates it when I plug.
Stop!
Bro!
That was ass material right there! Dylan Bog!
What was that?
Oh, God.
Even outside of Ace Attorney streams, he is chaos!
Guys, I told you, Dylan is not playing a character. Dylan is just himself on Ace Attorney stream. Mason says hi.
Mason?
Yeah.
I'm Mason.
Yep. Godot's theme jump scared you. Oh no! Where is the coffee man? That sounds like a horror villain from,
He is a horror villain.
some, like, indie film production.
I mean, with that red mask of his in the darkness, he kind of is.
Pretty scary, actually. And he murdered someone.
Yeah, he did murder someone. Is it murder if it's in self-defense?
No.
There you go. He didn't murder
There
someone.
we go.
He killed someone.
Murder is a crime, self-defense is a justification, and so it makes it not ultimately against
But
the
it's
law.
homicide,
Yes.
so he committed a homicide.
Homicide isn't a legal term, it's a medical term.
Oh.
So if one person causes another person's death, homicide, even if ultimately not a crime.
That makes sense. It's homicide, human
Why
side,
did you have to make it gay?
because everything's gay. We're Homo sapiens.
It's in our blood.
It is in our blood.
In our biology.
If you ain't gay, you're not human.
Speaking of gay, why is Hodson on his knees in front of Milan?
He's not.
He's
Okay,
not! Dude! He's carrying an anchor!
Dylan's terrible. Look at the dragon, Milano.
Go see the Kofi. You'll get what you're looking for.
Dylan also gets it for free. See, that's the ticket, guys. You either make a comic with somebody, or you I guess become engaged to somebody who's making a comic. Those
Life
are the
hacks.
words.
Life hacks, go get married, then you'll have access to art.
Well, they're specifically not the crimes, though. Pastry Puff. Homicide is, as Dylan has just told us, a medical term. So, patricide would be specifically causing your father's death, and matricide would be specifically causing your mother's death, but not necessarily in a criminal way. At least that's my understanding from Dylan's description before. Maybe it's different for those two. Who knows how colloquialisms work?
Could be so different.
God, I've been
Okay.
watching our Paradise Killer playthrough to make a compilation, and it's just wild, man. I'm glad I can watch it on 2 times speed.
We were slowly losing brain cells during that playthrough.
Because I watch it on like 2 times speed because like I said, I'm just looking for the funny bits, the goofs, the gaffs.
The goofs, the gaffs, the moments where we got lost and accidentally launched ourselves off a cliff.
Too many times. Paradise Killer is a fever dream. It was a fever dream, Pastry Puff, and that's why I'm
It
making
really
the
is.
compilation, because I feel like just,
I'm not entirely convinced it actually happened.
I just want people to be able to relive, or for the first time live the fever dream without having to watch 4 fucking streams. And a lot of, I'm gonna say it, I'm sorry if the person that we were talking with before, I'm blanking on their name, that really liked Paradise Killer is in chat. Rather
I'm sorry.
boring lore. I was kind of just done with it at this point. It's not a game for me. I don't think it was necessarily a bad game. I
was
just
not
think it's
designed
just
for us.
not our kind of game, man.
I just don't have the Sherlock level of brain that they wanted.
I don't. I really don't. I barely have the Ace Attorney level of brain. That's why I'm a little afraid if we do play Layton, because it feels like Layton is gonna need more brain power than Ace Attorney does.
Layton requires some puzzle solving.
And I'll admit, little intimidated.
It's all on Ori to puzzle solve.
Hey, you helped with the Tangled Tower ones. It's not all on me. The only times it's all on me is when it's specifically like
Well, when you're clicking
jumping.
around.
Yeah, but if it looks like in Layton, it's like an actual, you're in a puzzle, you know? They're mostly fun
Yeah.
puzzles. I don't know, but there are some math ones. Yeah, Paradise Killer was just, I really needed a game that was more on rails. You know, if I'm being honest, I'm not a open world mystery kind of gal. I really need there to be a fair amount of rails.
It's a lot to expect.
It's just, they really make it where it was like, it's a long game, you know?
It's a long game, and there's so much detail. Well thought out detail. But I don't got the brain space.
The
for
other
said
thing
detail.
that got me with it though was that because I'm remembering it now, was we didn't even really have to know what was happening. You just had to go around collecting the stuff. And then it basically like put it all together for you at the end. And you just went,
I had
yeah.
no clue what was happening at all.
No, it was just like, we have the most evidence for this guy collected, and we were right every time except we falsely accused one person, but we got all the killers. Yeah, Pastry Puff. That's
Yay,
why I'm
we
more...
won!
That's why I'm more, like, okay with that as, like, a game idea concept. Because it's just like, yeah, Ace Attorney has, like, pretty straightforward rails, and we still get fucking lost sometimes. And so it's just like,
Yeah.
I need...
I steal samurai.
Yeah. I need it to be... just a little... goals that I'm working towards, right? Like, I need it to be just... enough where it's like, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly the question that I'm trying to solve. You know, yada yada. Tangle Tower, I think, did a good job.
Be like D&D puzzles.
Yeah, Tangle Tower did a good job in a different way than Ace Attorney did it. But it was like, okay, you go around and you get all of these pieces from every character. So at least there's a goal, right? There's a goal of like, okay, I need every character to give me their motive. Like, I need to find a motive for every character. I need to find a, you know, this for every character, yada yada. At least there was definitely like there was a plan. Paradise Killer didn't really have a plan.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very exciting, Pastry Puff. It's going to be a mobile game again, or is it going to be on, like, Steam or something?
I know the one Steam game I currently have my eye on is Date Everything, when that eventually comes out.
See, I'm always like in my head, I'm like, oh, it would be fun to play like dating sims on stream, and then also in my head, I'm like, not really though.
But we could let chat pick who we're dating.
I know, but it's just, I don't know, it's not the same.
I guess not.
Yes, that one is the big one, Pastry Puff. New World of Steam.
Ooh.
There's so much, I will say, there's a lot of internet buzz about the possibility of a new mainline Ace Attorney game, so...
I really hope so. Please.
I mean, it'd be fucking epic. Hey, I expect a couple more years if I'm being honest. Please, wait for us.
At least they're providing.
If I'm being honest, I'm just very happy that they remastered all the games so that we can play them easily on stream.
See, they knew we were playing.
Exactly. God damn it, Milano. You're not centered at all.
Oh, Milano.
It's my fault, not his, but... we're fixing it.
Yeah, we can blame him in the meantime.
Oh, so I will say, so I watched this week's, like, fairy tale episode, and it was very anime. There's, like, some cute part. It was definitely downtime. There's some cute parts that it was like, yay, nice. But then there was also just like, this was really anime, and I didn't need it to be this anime.
Are we talking fan service scenes?
That would be very nice, Pastry Puff. No, just like... the crude jokes, but in like a much more childish way than like, say, The Vampire Dies in No Time did it. You know, where like it comes out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like The Vampire Dies in No Time is like, at least this is the framing of the thing, right? So you know what to expect. But it's just like, why did this have to happen? You know, why did we have to have this? This is not a show for this.
Tell me why.
Yeah, tell me why. Ain't nothing but a weirdness. That's what I like how I call it very anime, but you know, I feel like everybody knows what I mean.
I mean, that's kind of the only way to describe it. That's what I told my... Okay, so guys, When I was in high school, I basically started my anime journey. And one of the things I had to help me with that journey was Studio Ghibli films. Because somehow I had never seen a Studio Ghibli film.
Which are not
in my
very
entire life
anime.
up Until that point. They're not super anime. But you know, there are some cultural aspects in them where I'm just like, okay, I need to preview this first before I can show my parents. Because, like, God bless my parents. I love them. There was one point where they were like, hey, can we watch these films with you? And me, like, getting into anime, I knew that anime could get anime. And then
Yeah.
sometimes there's just moments where I'm like, I don't want to be an encyclopedia. I want to watch a movie. I don't want to have to explain,
Yes.
no, this is a thing in Japanese culture because this is based on a yokai that exists in that culture that does this, this, and this, blah, 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 blah. So I explained this to my mom the other day because she saw something. I think she was on YouTube and she was like scrolling through like the history of movies or something. And she found some Studio Ghibli related. And no, I know what she was doing. She's gotten into steampunk recently, which is very interesting. And she was looking up top 10 steampunk movies on like Watch Mojo or something like that, some kind of countdown channel. And she found one that looked kind of like anime. She turns to me and she goes, "Oh, is this your anime thing?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't recognize that one.
Yeah, that was the wildest thing to me when someone was like, "Oh, you like anime? So does this person. You obviously like the same thing." And it's like, no, that's saying I like movies.
No. It gets even better. So
no.
she starts going on like, well, I don't know. Do you want to watch this one? I remember how protective of your movies and shows you were back in high school. And I was like, okay, Mom, you don't understand. I love anime. It's great. It's fantastic. But sometimes there are things in anime that are just really hard to explain.
But that's like,
And she was like, what do you mean?
Oh,
so
no.
I just came out and told her. Because
Oh,
I'm like,
snap.
you know what? We're all big girls here. We can handle it.
Oh
so
my
I
God.
told her, I was like, okay, Mom, there are some shows that like to do these kinds of scenes, and there are some shows that like to have these kinds of relationships. I want to preview these things first before I show anything to you. So she was like, oh, okay, is that why you let me watch Frieren the other day? And I was like, yes, because that's about as tame as I can give you. Aside from the
Honestly?
scene where her skirt gets flipped and the guy laughs at like a pair of clouds that look like boobs, that's as bad as it gets. So I was like, okay, this is a safe one. I can show her this. Because she was asking about my cosplay. She wanted to know where it came from. So I was like, okay, I can show her Frieren. Like, this is a safe one. The dub is fine. Let's do it. But aside from that, I'm not showing her anything else. But even funnier with that, the way my parents treat my like of anime, like, I have a lot of respect
my
for the
God,
Japanese
please.
culture. I studied Japanese in college. I took some history classes. I find it very interesting. I find it very fascinating, especially with how the mythology and everything can work its way into modern media. I find that very cool, honestly, across any culture. That's just always struck me as very
epic.
interesting.
Yes, always.
Now, my mom has been like watching because it's on my channel. I'll get like OSP explains like mythologies and stuff like that. So
The
other
good
day,
shit.
she's trying to the good shit. Oh, absolutely. But I'm trying to find something to watch during lunch, or she's trying to find something to watch during lunch. And all of a sudden, she like, I don't remember what the video was, but she says like, she tries to pronounce a Japanese name. So she goes like, oh, Princess Kaguya. Is that your people? And I'm like,
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
what do you mean, my people?
Oh no!
What does that mean?
Said that any other way? What?
Like, Mama Mars. What the
Are
hell?
you Japanese? Is Dad Japanese? What? do you
Not,
mean?
not since I last checked.
What?
I was crying laughing at that. I'm like, Mom, what do you mean your people? And she's like, that's your Japanese stuff. You're into that. Oh my God.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Let's go back to the drawing
But
board.
it's Okay, but about the like previewing stuff is like, if that's like saying every live action show is acceptable for your child to watch.
Yeah, no,
Right.
no, that's literally it.
It's like
That's literally it.
like shouldn't you get a vibe of the show at very least before you allow your like 10-year-old to watch it with you? Like
Guys, raising parents is very hard.
it's
I'm
okay.
trying to raise
I will
them
admit
with good morals.
I
It's
will
a
admit-
challenge.
my parents are very live action pilled, and so I don't expect them to ever like truly watch like stuff with me like that. Like I wouldn't show
Well, that
them
one
like
time
anime.
your dad was watching Orin High School Host Club with us.
Okay, but see that's different. I would never
Oh my
be
God, I'm
able to
sweating.
get
I love
my
you.
father and mother to sit down and like I could probably get my mom to, but to get both like my parents to sit down and specifically like with the full intention of watching an anime probably would not happen. However, if it's on in the room, my father will watch it and my father will absorb it because I get my ability to quote shit from my father very explicitly. Like that is the things that we have. So it's just like, if it's on, he's paying attention. So it's very funny.
Pastry Puff, great babysitting tools, Attack on Titan, and Death Note. I mean, that'll be no problem.
Yeah, Spirited Away is one of those ones where it's like, why is this the first one that came over to America? It's fucking wild. We
It
could
is
have gotten like
wild,
Kiki's
it is
delivery service or
scary.
something. Like Jesus, as like the introduction into Ghibli films is fucking Spirited Away.
But you know
Like,
what?
what?
People accepted something different, and I'm happy for it.
It's just wild. But no,
was
no, no.
very beloved.
You know what I don't
Still
get?
is.
I feel like sometimes our like parents' generations are not as willing to sit down and just accept things that happen in a movie without
Oh
or
my
a
God.
show without understanding
Literally
them. Right?
all the time. So who's this character? Why are they there? What are her powers? If you sit for 5 seconds, she's literally going to talk about it in a minute.
But it's not even that. It's like, okay, I watched anime solely like by myself for a very long time. Like I was into anime. I was watching animes that my friends who I knew liked anime weren't watching. I didn't watch Attack on Titan. I didn't watch Death Note, you know, or those that were popular at that time, or Tokyo Ghoul, whatever. I watched Fairy Tail, and nobody else that I knew watched Fairy Tail. Okay, so it was like a very specific sort of thing. I had nobody explaining things to me. I had nobody being like, this is how anime is, or like, you know, explaining like Japanese culture stuff. It was literally like, I would sit down and I would watch the show, and it would either go over my head, I would say, whatever, I didn't get that, or you would finally understand. And I find that sometimes people are not necessarily willing to do that. Right?
Tell me about it.
Like the level of, I understand wanting to analyze things, and I don't think that is a bad
Yes,
thing.
Pastry Puff.
But it's just like, can you sit and just watch the whole thing? And then if you're done and you
And then if you have
really
a
didn't
question,
like it or
then
understand
you can
it,
ask something.
you could ask something, or you could just be like, wow, that was a really good vibe. I didn't need to understand the whole thing, okay? I didn't need to understand the whole, like there's layers, and there's probably a lot of like yokai references and other references in a bunch of anime that I didn't get, never will get, and haven't gotten. But I can accept that. Right? That's like saying, oh, if you're a child and you watch a show that has like innuendos, but you're too young and you don't get them, now it's bad, right? And it's like,
The amount of times my mom asked, is Frieren a fairy? No, she's an elf. 2 minutes later. So is she a fairy?
I don't get shit.
She's an elf. She just said that she's an elf.
But it's just
Is
like,
she a fae? She's an elf.
but what I don't understand is okay, you can't wrap your head around that she's an elf. Why does it matter? She's special. This is all that matters. I don't care what
All
she
that
is.
matters is she has
She's
a very long
different,
lifespan.
and she lives a long time, and you can tell that she like I don't give a shit what you call
Is
it.
she a fairy?
But it's like I don't give a shit what you call it. I don't care. Why can't you just accept her existence? It's the way it is.
Well, that was also the thing too. I'm watching friggin' Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny with my parents, and they're like, "Oh, so who is this lady that just showed up?" And I'm like, "They just said it. She's the goddaughter.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
that
It's
her
stupid.
daughter from the different marriage? No, it's her goddaughter. They just said it. Oh, I bet that was the housekeeper, and Marion ran off with her other husband." I'm like,
Oh my god.
"It's the goddaughter."
It's like no. Okay.
Am I in an
There's
insane asylum?
there's like three things, right? Sometimes I understand wanting to sit down with your family and watch a movie that you're not particularly interested in, okay? So you go into watching.
All I know is my mom saw the pointy ears and declared her a fairy, and I'm like, okay, if that's what gets you through the show, she's a
Yeah,
fairy. Fine.
Sure, you know, it literally doesn't matter. But
And I'm a tomato.
it's like, okay, if you go into a movie and it's like, I just want to spend time with my family, and I'm not particularly interested in the movie, so I'm
you know
not
what
going
got
to pay
absolutely
attention.
No questions? When we went to go see Inside Out 2, no questions. Sat, watched the movie. No interruptions.
But you're in a
no
theater.
Questions,
But
no
you're in
nothing.
a theater.
Well, yeah, there's
That's
the
a different
connotation.
thing. That you're in a theater.
But it's just like,
But it's just like, if you're not gonna pay attention, that's fine. That's your choice. But don't come in halfway being suddenly interested and make everybody explain what you missed.
yeah,
Right?
that's just not fair.
You can start enjoying it later, you know, because you didn't expect to enjoy it, and then you're getting into it. That's fine, but don't make everybody stop paying attention to the movie to tell you what you weren't paying attention to before. Yes, Mason. Sadly, movie theaters are becoming less and less, I guess, quote-unquote, sacred, and it's sad. But nobody enforces it as well. But see, that's the other thing. People are... The people who should be the ones that enforce these rules are underpaid and, honestly, have probably been threatened bodily harm in the past. And
Oh,
thus...
most definitely.
do not enforce it, and it means that people think that they can do whatever they want, and it's just really
that's
unfortunate.
Really cute pastry puff. I definitely didn't catch that, but I like that they added that detail.
Aw, that is so cute. I cried so hard when that happened in the first one, though. So bad.
Ooh,
I cried so hard.
That one hurt.
That one was rough.
That one hurt.
But yeah, so it's just like, I don't... and it's just like, I don't have all the answers, okay? Especially if we're watching this together for the first time. I probably don't know what you don't know. I'm trying to learn that too, from the thing that'll give me the information.
It's like, I don't know. Why don't we watch together and find out?
So yeah, I don't know. It definitely feels sometimes like some people, and it happens to be a lot times, parents, specifically moms. I don't know why. It's my mom too. My dad's quiet, but I don't know why.
Oh no, my dad isn't quiet.
No. Thankfully, my dad is also watching the movie and also gets frustrated with my mom. So.
Wait, Ori, I gotta share this. Because it cracked me up the other day. So Ori and I went to a convention this past weekend. It was great. It was amazing.
Really fun. Totally will go next year. 100%.
Honestly, 10 out of 10 will go again.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
I ended up getting a really cute Freerun poster there. I was very happy with it. And when I got home, I said to my mom, like, oh, do you want to see everything I got from the con? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So I show her the Freerun poster. And she goes, "Oh, that's cute. Who's that?" And I'm like,
Oh.
we watched the show. You know this character. So I try to guide her in the right direction. I said, this is the character from the show we watched, the character I was dressed as today. And for some reason she said, "Oh, they made that poster because of you? That's so cool. They know you and Ori exist." I'm like, no, Mom, these aren't our comic characters. This is Freerin from the show we watched. And she's like, "Wait, but you and Ori dressed as the characters, and you guys are promoting your comic on the back of those cards. Like, is that not your character?" I'm like, "Mom, the show Freerin would exist with or without me or Ori, because that is a show that the public can access.
God, I wish
the artist did
animated
not draw
Freerin.
it because of us. The artist drew it because she adores that show."
And we dressed as
God
them
help me.
because we like the show. And I drew the characters because we dressed as them because we like the show.
I love my parents dearly, but I gotta get them some crosswords or word searches or something, because they are scaring me.
Make them learn a new language, Mars, please.
I seriously gotta.
This is painful.
So I'm like, what the fuck?
This is hurting me.
Oh yeah, no, literally. That's the girl. Yeah, the dude's daughter. What? I'm like, I show her Freerin. She's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, we watched 5 episodes together.
Oh my god. No,
How
please,
could you
Jupa.
forget?
I don't understand, because I don't
I
feel
just
like
cracked
it's
up
like
hysterical at that.
we're
But I'm like,
absorbing information
okay.
better. Like, I don't know.
You ever know, have you ever seen that clip of Phineas and Ferb where Buford's kind of like being a little bit of an airhead, and Baljeet just goes, it is not me, right? It is him." I feel like that a lot.
Yes.
It's not me, right?
Okay.
It is them.
Baljeet and Buford were so good. Oh my god.
They were hysterical. The one clip I friggin' love is when they're in the quicksand and he goes, "Hey, I landed up here. Should I go join you?" "No, throw down the vine." He's getting ready to throw down the whole vine. "No, throw down one half of it." "Okay, but I don't know what you're gonna do with half a vine." "It's not me, right? It's him." Buford, "Paul, on the vine." "Oh, sorry, it's him."
Oh god.
That is my life.
I can't believe
that is my life
song
right now.
that I was trying to remember during our playthrough was a fucking Phineas and Ferb song. I didn't like that was like nuts to me. Like, I knew that it was a show that like I watched a lot of. I knew that it is a show that like I care about and know about, and you know, like all this sort of stuff. But just to be like, it was that ingrained in my fucking head that I'm like, it's in here, it's there. What song is it? And immediately when it came up, I was like, fuck, it's that song. I know that song. Yes.
This is your wallet.
Is this your wallet? Yes, I found this wallet, and it has your ID in this wallet, so that makes it your wallet. Makes sense to me. So take it.
Sure, Mason.
It's not my wallet. Yeah, of course, Mason.
Yeah, I'll say goodnight to everybody.
We always say goodnight.
We do our best.
Yes.
We may not always succeed, but we do our best.
But yes, yes. So
I
yeah.
say this all with love. I love my parents dearly, and they really do try.
Hey, they're watching anime with you at all, but like, yeah, it
They're
definitely
watching
is.
anime. They were very interested in my cosplay, and they were very interested in my con haul. So really, what more can I ask for? I am lucky.
But yeah, it definitely is. Sometimes it's like, I don't think I'm better at absorbing information from shows. Am I? I don't think I'm special.
So. I think my brain is just always on. This is Freerin. Yes, everyone refers to her as an elf. Okay, the lore revolves around elf culture at multiple points. Makes sense to me. So what is Freerin? She's a fairy?
Oh god.
I'm dying. I'm crying.
Oh god. You made it too real.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, literally, that was almost the discussion word for word.
It pains me. But it's just like,
Oh my
but it's just
God,
like,
she's not a fucking fairy.
can you just sit quietly? What does this do for you? Right? Like,
Yeah.
what is this information giving you? Whether I answer, how does it affect how you watch the show? You know what I'm
Some people
saying?
watch the show alone and don't have anyone to answer these questions.
Like,
You know who
if
does answer
it
the
was-
questions? The writer and the show.
but like, even pretend, just pretend that they never actually call her one thing or the other, right? Let's just pretend.
Yeah.
And as long as they state that she lives
As long
a
as
really
they
long
state
time,
that she lives long and,
and you
will
can
outlive all
tell
her
visually
friends.
that she is the same species as the other pointy-eared people, then who the fuck cares what they're called? I don't understand.
I don't know why she got so hung up on that.
It's
It
just
was
like,
honestly
what
hilarious.
does it matter? See, that's the whole thing. I can't get over the why does it matter? It doesn't matter.
I gotta look something up real quick because this is just funny. What did she watch the other day?
Eric's, your legs are not right. They're too long.
She watched not that. It was like Mr. Peculiar Mind or something like that. What was she watching?
Is it a movie?
It is a movie. She found it the other day because she's in her steampunk phase.
Oh, it's a steampunk movie.
I gotta find it. Hang on. I'm gonna use my phone because I can't use my keyboard. Let's see. Okay. What was it called? Movie where guy is immortal, sells soul to devil, and daughter is in circus. Steampunk.
Honestly,
Don't
that's
ask.
my favorite thing about the internet, though, is being able to
Okay,
fucking search
here it
shit like
is.
that and find the thing.
Guys, you know what movie she was watching the other day?
What
so
movie?
she's in her steampunk phase right now.
Yeah.
So she's looking for all the steampunk movies she could find. She watched The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. It's a
Oh,
very interesting movie, visually, story-wise. It's very fascinating. I could barely follow what was going on in that movie. And guess what she did through the entire movie?
ask you.
She stayed completely silent.
What the? Oh,
You're able to follow this, but you can't follow Freerin.
or you're willing to just, but see, my question is always, is she just willing to accept it in this one for some reason? And I think
Maybe.
now I have a
Maybe.
question.
Because there's also this line between like Freerin is specifically anime, right? And the way
That's your
I've built
people,
a
Mars.
relationship around anime, right? It's something she doesn't understand. That's my world. I have to introduce her to it. I have to explain everything. And that's just kind of the environment I've created, be it intentionally or unintentionally. It's my thing. So, of course, she's going to ask all the questions because even if it's about an elf, a fantasy creature in a Germanic European setting, well, that's Japanese anime. She doesn't know what that's about.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's where it comes from.
Maybe.
But The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, a very interesting movie. I thought it was interesting, but I could barely follow what was going on. I had questions. And she's completely silent during the whole thing.
Oh my god.
I'm like, okay,
I just wish,
this is where the line is drawn, I guess.
I wish that
Fascinating.
people could understand that anime is not a genre.
It's not rocket science.
It's not a, but it's just, anime is, you know, and I guess I'm not helping by calling things anime when like Fairy Tail was very anime the last time, but that's more like anime in the like
But that's also,
stereotypical
like,
way.
If you know, you know.
But that's like saying, but to me that's like saying like something was very cartoony, right? A cartoon could be about a numerous amount of things, but cartoony has a vibe, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that's like saying, okay, I'm watching I'm watching a cartoon, right? That could be any genre. The fact that it's animated is solely the medium in which it's portrayed. No, exactly, Pastry Puff. It's not a,
literally like
and that's
watching
a,
a Western
but for whatever
cartoon.
reason,
It's just
because it
animation.
has that name to it, being that it's not just a cartoon or it's not just animation, the fact that it has the word anime now makes it that this is not a medium, this is a genre. And thus everyone who likes anime knows the same animes. And that's what baffled me. That's what like caught me off guard one time talking to an old lady. She's like, oh yeah, I work with this girl and she likes anime and she draws these characters and blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember how we got talking, how it like hit me, but it hit me at one point and it's like, oh, she thinks that anime is like one thing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly, Pastry Puff. Like saying live action is a genre. No, you can have The Walking Dead is not the same as Blue Bloods or The Big Bang Theory. You know, like they're all very different things. No one says Star Wars is like Lord of the Rings. Well, maybe some people do, but that's not the point.
Some people would insist.
Yeah, but that's
I'm
not the
one of
point.
them.
But, you know, I don't know any... No one would say that Star Wars is like Mission Impossible. However, they're both live action.
But they're both live action.
But they're very different.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense, please.
Make it make sense.
Just... I find it hilarious, personally.
It's just like...
It's annoying, but it's also hilarious.
To me, it's to a point, right? Or it's just like, please.
Just sit and watch the movie.
Yeah, just accept that you might not know something.
Like, unless I want to explain something. Like when I'm with Ori, and I'm showing her something that I really liked, and I'm like, oh, I love the symbolism in this, I love the this, I love the that. I will sit there and explain it to her because I'm like, look at this deeper meaning. Look at how these elements are being used.
It's
because
very cool.
That's not something explained outright in the story. That's something that you either pick up on or, you know, you subconsciously acknowledge it. But because I'm like, no, this is the reason I love the show. I need you to acknowledge this element exists. I will verbally explain it to you. That is the only time I will like gab during a show.
I will say, Mars and I do talk a lot during the shows, but
we do.
It's one, never being
But
like,
it's usually
oh,
to talk about the show, like, oh my
about
god,
what
can
is
you believe
currently
this?
happening right now,
Like, what
or
is
to
on screen in front of us.
or to theorize.
Oh, Link Click was full of that.
Full of theorizing,
crying.
but never. But never me going, Mars. So is that the guy who did the murder and killed the other guy in 2 episodes ago? You know, or
Sorry,
is that the
did you
same
watch
cat
the
as before
goddamn
time?
show?
Like that's never what it is. But the other thing is like
That's the thing that drives me crazy. And I think that's why it's so annoying is that these questions can be answered if you just fucking pay attention.
if you just watch the show, or just I
watch
guess
the damn show.
I'm a relatively passive consumer of content. Okay, I have in more recent years being surrounded by people like Mars and Dylan who very much enjoy deeper meanings of things, definitely taken a more active role. But I will still say that there is, yeah, Pastry Puff, it really is. It's theorizing all the way down. But there's definitely like, because of being somebody that introduced anime out to myself by myself, basically. Like, I just accept that sometimes I'm not fully understanding it. And if it really felt like it mattered, I could look it up later. But here's an example, okay? There are BL terms, right? For when you refer to like BL that are, you know, sometimes translated and kept with the actual Japanese words, sometimes translated into English and what their meaning is, okay? And so there's a lot of talk.
I had to look up what a slim was in the first volume of Sasaki
and Miyano. Yep. That's in the back, so you can see in the back of the books.
Wait, what the heck is a slim?
So the translation notes are really fun for that. They talk about
well,
them
I
in the
found
back.
it, and that's when I understood. I was like,
but it's like I just accept that until I get to that point and I find it out because it wasn't integral.
It didn't hinder anything.
I
also watched the anime first, so like I know where it's going.
But also on top of that, but just saying like
about.
I constantly get mixed up with the Japanese words for top and bottom. They're not like in my head very specifically. So it is partially context clues and then just accepting that it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They're talking about liking BL. I don't really need to be a part of that conversation to understand the show, you know, like it doesn't matter.
I could see that too, Pastry Puff.
Yeah.
I could see that happening with my folks. It's especially when there are movies and shows where there are supposed to be questions instead of answers. Oof. Those are the hard ones. Because it's like, you're not supposed to know. At least not yet.
Yeah.
That's the fun of it.
Please let it just simmer.
Sit with the slow burn. Okay, side tangent. I almost feel like Western animation, maybe not animation, but Western shows in general, like live action animation, all of it, have almost conditioned us, especially recently, to expect answers for everything. Like nothing feels secret anymore. Nothing is allowed to simmer. Nothing is allowed to just sit with you for a while and let you think about it. And I think that ties back to all the reasons we've stated before, like with the streaming count, with the episode count, all of those
question, Mars.
Because like if you're not given enough episodes, why would you bother to let something stick with your viewers if you don't know if you can provide an answer in the next season? You might not be guaranteed.
But now I'm curious about something, Mars. Your parents, when they watch TV on their own, are they majority watching shows that are long-running series, but usually have a whole storyline in an episode?
Now, let me tell you this. When I was growing up, we watched a lot of live-action shows. We watched Charmed. We watched Psych. We watched Monk. We watched Warehouse 13. And we also watched The Librarians once that came out. There were a couple others in there, but those were the big 5 that really stuck with us. And then aside from that, it was mostly like reality TV cooking competitions and Hell's Kitchen and stuff like that. Now, all those shows I mentioned previously followed a very episodic format where it was, here's the problem, here's the resolution at the end. And maybe aside from the season finale,
might be a two-parter,
maybe there's an ongoing
or the season opening
background element that's not really at the forefront. There is no continual mystery. There's no continual lingering questions. Maybe, like I said, because Warehouse 13 did do a thing where they set up something at the start of, I think it was season 4.
But did it have payoff besides that every episode?
It had payoff in every single episode.
See, that's
yes.
And I think
and now
that's what's happened.
What they watch nowadays, lots of informational tech talk tips for my dad. Very informational, very explaining, very here's how's it done, here's the answer type of videos. And for my mom, she watches a lot of gardening episodes. Here's how it's done, here's the answer type of videos. I'm starting to see a pattern.
Yeah, so I think what the problem might actually be is just the way that TV used to be.
But here's
And
the thing,
that-
I grew up on these stories as well.
Now
I
hear
was
me
right
out.
beside them watching Psych, Warehouse
Hear me
13,
out.
Librarians, all of it.
But how old were you?
About, I would say I start watching Charm around 5.
And
Yes,
what was
I
your
a nutso
first
kid.
anime?
My first anime was Attack on Titan in high school.
And so in high school. And Attack on Titan does have medium payoff every other episode, doesn't it?
Roughly, but it definitely leaves you
It's not
with,
episodic. It's not episodic.
like,
but
oh
there's
my shit,
something
what's
that
happening?
definitely fully happens every time, right?
Yes.
Basically every time. Same with
It
Fairy
basically
Tail,
ends with
right?
to be continued every time.
Yeah.
Death Note especially. Death Note ends with a to be continued every time. If anything, Death Note by a Western standard is incredibly unsatisfying because
night,
nothing
Mason.
ever comes to like a full closure. Good night, Mason.
But so what I think is we started younger on transferring over, but also think
I would
about
also argue Teen Titans and Avatar: The
that's
Last
what I was gonna say.
Airbender
Think about the
also set us up
cartoons
very
that
well.
we grew up with. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the original Teen Titans, even Adventure Time had like an underlying thing that at least had a through line, you know, a fair
Oh,
amount of every time.
absolutely.
But also, you know, you have Steven Universe, Gravity Falls. These
Gravity
shows
Falls,
that
that's a
have
big
this,
one.
there is something happening.
Even Star Versus to an extent.
But even Star Wars, but even go back, Kim Possible. While it was still very episodic, the story still progressed through the times. It didn't all stay the same, right? And so we're talking significantly, right? They literally go through every the 4 years of high school, and so it mattered.
yeah.
It mattered. Now, the whole thing with that is that I think then going into anime, you're a little more able to, but also you get into anime younger, okay? Like you just got into it younger. You didn't grow up and then much older have to figure it out, right? Where it's like, oh, this isn't fully explained right away off the bat at this time, you know? Because I also think that sometimes TV shows once upon a time thought their audience very stupid.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
you can watch a lot of older shows and be like, oh my god, you're over-explaining at this point in time, right? This is too much explaining. This is too much exposition. I know what's going on inside and out. You can shut up about it, please. And so I think it's a mixture of just how you consumed media mostly, and then kind of being stuck in your ways. Because now think about it when it comes to the movie, right? The movie that your mom sat quietly through Inside Out, sat quietly through the steampunk one. They're movies. And they're not
They're going to
not
have
the part 2
conclusions.
movies. They're going to end in a spot. They're going to end. Everything
That's
or
true.
the majority of things should in a good movie be explained by the end. Right? Not necessarily everything if you want it to be a series, but like a lot of things, you know, the vast majority
Usually
of things.
there aren't too many loose ends with a
No,
movie.
exactly. And I think that's what it is just not being prepared to need to wait longer, to need to watch another episode to get to a conclusion, to have such a cliffhanger. And I think that's very interesting because even when you talk about Between the Lions, there's that whole thing about cliffhanger. And that was the
Hanging
whole
from a
idea,
cliff.
was that you were always on a cliffhanger with cliffhanger. And I think in a way, you could say that maybe that prepped us for what a cliffhanger is.
You know what? Maybe it
that there's
did.
a thing, that it happens. It's just, you know, I don't know. Because I'm thinking about it.
Because around the time I started consuming anime, I also started consuming more MatPat, more video essays,
Mm-hmm.
more analysis videos, and I think it just all primed my brain to really accept, like, okay, here are the clues in the show. I'm going to sit with these and that gives me a chance to like think about what they mean, think about
When I
what
definitely
this
felt
means for the
about-
larger story.
Having onus on like what I was watching and really deciding like what I was going to watch besides like this was on TV at this time,
'Cause
so I'm
that's
watching
freedom.
it, was Gravity Falls, a big one, and Adventure Time, which at that point in time when it was coming out was really in the heyday of these are through lines, these are stories, we're getting lore now, and Over the Garden Wall, you know, very like thought pieces, right? Things that are like the community is thinking about it, the community is theorizing about it, right? Steven Universe giving rise to a lot of those theory channels, right? That I watched, you know, the Round Table, all this sort of stuff.
Oh,
And
that's a good one.
yeah, and so I think it's just interesting. But because, see, I said how my father will sit there and watch. He does not ask questions. Well, my mother is the one who will be like, oh, what is this? What is it? How does it? Whatever. My father watches a fair amount of those through line shows, of those more, you know, like maybe partially episodic, but definitely having a bigger picture. He watched The Expanse. He watches, you know, a lot of sci-fi shows like that. Definitely ones that are more, this is a full story in a season, not in an episode. Versus, while my mother sits there, that's not her preference. Her preference is to watch things like cop shows. That very much is 90% of the time
Those are going to
resolved
end
at the end.
conclusion.
And so it
Yeah.
is just very interesting, and I think like that. But,
Ori,
all right, what?
why are there so many skeletons in your parents' house?
Because the spotted lanternflies deserve to die.
But why do they have human bones?
I never said they had human bones. I
Is
said
it
there
skeletons
were
or
corpses.
exoskeletons?
They're exoskeletons, but
Oh.
skeleton means both.
Oh, you're still streaming. Oh, we're lying for stream. Yeah.
Sure.
Spotted lanternflies.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of that, though,
Well, it's about
It is
that
time.
time.
yeah,
We kind of went on a tangent there.
we did,
but I hope you
But
all
thank you all for
enjoyed.
hanging out. And we will be back on Thursday with our lovely Making Time,
Yes.
where we finally do
Schedule
the
is normal
thumbnails
this week, guys.
for Mars's character, Ricoriti. Oh, let me do.
Oh, I'm excited.
We do ending. There we go. Thank you
I
to
can't
our
wait to
lovely
see ya.
YouTube channel members. Means a lot for you guys supporting us. If you want your little tea pet to be designed or drawn by me, Ori, and then put on the table, just like Parry is Parry, Nicole, and Dichotomy Games, you can become an angsty adversary. Otherwise, you know, there's other levels like Doofus Detectives, Lakitu, Aragorn, Canadian Lucifer, Tay, and Jester. Otherwise, we just love having you here, chatting with us, lurking with us, vodding the watch. Yeah, that's words, definitely. But yeah, we hope to see you all on Thursday. Otherwise, we'll see you around the Discord. Good night.
That we will. Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.